Last time on Square Roots, Yuri does a murder, Karol is the boss, and Patty sets sail on a ghost ship. Also, we make a new friend with too much dragon and too little clothes. Girl, skin that dragon and wear it as a coat. I'm Vanessa DeVille. I don't care. Repede is my hat now. Deal with it.
Welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. I'm your new and permanent host, Matthew Van Zant.
Oh, no.
Joined as always by my good friend, John
E.
Baul Brandon.
I guess that's a nickname. That's all right. Grr. Arg, I'm Baul.
By the end of the episode, you're going to be very girthy.
Oh.
And Vanessa.
Hello. I'm Vanessa.
Hello.
This is the Square Roots podcast RPG, where we talk about RPG podcasts, one podcast at a time.
You might call it a talk through.
A talk through, like a walk through, but a talk through.
Got him.
5 years later, somebody came along with the best suggestion I've ever heard for what this show is. A talk through. Boy, we're going to need to take that and make it our own real quick.
Yeah. TM.
TM.
There you go.
TM. I think if all three of us do it, it's like a perma.
Yeah.
Like a perma
In two
thing.
countries, so it's international law.
Oh.
Anyway, this week we're midway through on part 5 of our Tales of Vesperia playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And before we dive into that hot action, we have to talk about hot gaming news.
Hot gaming news.
John.
Yeah, that's my segment voice.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Those are really
What's up?
good.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hi.
Did you hear
Yeah.
about Elder Scrolls 6?
I know there is one. There's a trailer with trees and mountains.
Do you know that it's not going to be coming out on the PlayStation?
What about
Or
the Switch?
But nobody's surprised about that.
Oh.
It is the big announcement this week was that the Elder Scrolls 6 will be Microsoft exclusive, or Steam Xbox exclusive, I guess.
Mm-hmm. PC and computer only. PC and Xbox only.
Mm-hmm. PC and computer only.
PC and computer only. It's big news. It's real bad, and I do not like it.
Now, is that because you do not own an Xbox or a gaming PC?
That's part of it, although I fully anticipate to own an Xbox by the time it comes out, so I don't think that's really a problem for me personally. But
It feels like Sony already has, all the exclusives.
I don't like exclusives like this. I think it creates unhealthy monopolies.
But
My take.
were you upset that Spider-Man only came out on PlayStation? Because that's the same, sort
Yeah.
of.
Well, it's also worth pointing out that these are different development kits. So are you want to, how do you solve that? You want to force developers to have to develop for two different consoles?
I don't know. It just
make
feels
things super
weird.
fair to you?
It feels weird because Microsoft bought this company, and now they're like, this whole franchise that's always been for everyone is now not for everyone anymore. Doesn't that feel weird to you?
No,
feel
because
kinda icky?
it's not. How is it for everyone? Not everyone owns a PlayStation and or an Xbox.
Everyone
There's also
owns a PlayStation.
I don't know. I know that it's all right. I'm playing the devil's advocate a bit. It's kind of scummy, but I don't care that much. But it is pretty shitty, Microsoft. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. It is that's why they bought it, right? They bought it
exactly.
so that...
That's why they bought it, and that's business. And exclusives have been around since the goddamn Nintendo came out, so it's hard to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
It's business, and these companies shouldn't be obligated to produce for every console or whatever is convenient for you, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But, Vanessa's right. You know what, Vanessa, you said that it used to be for everybody, but weren't the first 4 entries PC only?
The first two.
Definitely Elder Scrolls 1 and 2.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
3
but
was
that was-
Morrowind, and that was on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that was on Xbox eventually. It was
Yeah.
definitely a PC game that got ported.
I guess
Right,
Oblivion
and
was,
was two
only
Red
on
Guards?
Xbox.
No, I think there was a PlayStation 3 version of Oblivion.
But the point is, it has not always been for everybody. But I don't disagree that it kind of sucks. It's not great. Limiting access for gamers is not cool.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's 2021. Plus, like, the whole console shortage thing, which feels so artificial.
Oh no, that's not fair. We're in the middle of a pandemic
Yeah,
still.
that's part of that
That's
chip
crazy.
shortage thing. Like,
Is it?
It's not their fucking fault.
I thought they
It's,
just made
uh,
very few to, like, drum up a whole bunch of,
No.
like,
No,
you
no,
can't
they
get it.
want, like,
No.
at this point, it's the second Christmas with the
Oh, yeah.
consoles. They want to have a gajillion because this is the year that it really starts selling.
Yes.
Right.
And they couldn't, but this is the reason why Ford isn't making enough F-150s, because they don't have the chip shortages. The chip shortages are so bad that BMWs are coming out without touch screens and stuff because they don't have the parts
Why?
to make
Why
their computers.
do we have chip shortages? Is it just what's the issue there?
It's a
Crypto
combination.
bros.
No, well, not really. It's a combination of labor. Basically, like places like Indonesia, where they make the chips, were hard hit by the COVID, and then so there's already a backlog, and then there's logistics of getting all the supplies and getting them out there, and it's just going to take another couple of years to get them
Back to normal.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's a bummer for Microsoft, but at the same time, like, it is what it is. Like, sorry, fucking the world got shitty.
Hot
But no, it's
gaming
not-
news. Boop, boop,
It's not
boop.
Microsoft's fault. All right, listen. Quick second gaming news point that we don't necessarily have to talk about, but I want to give us the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody feel qualified to talk about this Activision stuff?
Kind of.
Yeah, let Vanessa
Well,
talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that. Them
So,
guts.
for listeners who do not know, the quick and very dirty version of the Activision stuff is that the Activision company has been dealing with a whole bunch of investigations into sexual harassment and leading up to rape at their company. And the CEO, it was revealed, knew about all of these allegations and did not inform the board or take other action about it. But informing the board is kind of the big thing. And they're freaking pissed about it. The employees are walking out. They're demanding that this guy be gotten rid of. The government is doing their investigations. It's a whole big thing. Also, in related gaming news, you remember when Blizzard got rid of their CEO because of the allegations of gender disparity at their company and replaced him with one man and one woman? Turns out the woman was being paid less than the man.
Oh,
and
wow.
she did not get her salary raised to equal her partner CEO until she said she was going to quit. And then they're like, wait, we have to have woman so we look good. And then they gave her
Was it
equal salary.
wasn't part of the outrage, and maybe you did you say this? Wasn't part of the outrage about the CEO of Activision writing a letter as one of his female employees?
I don't know about that.
Oh, did you not see that? Yeah.
No.
Do you remember that letter from several months ago from the female, like, co-CEO or, like, lead developer or something that was like, we take these allegations very seriously, but Activision is in no way responsible. Turns out he fucking wrote that shit and sent it as her. And she got murdered for it online, and he came out and said he couldn't believe that she did that.
Oh my god.
He wrote it and sent it as her. Fuck that shit. Fuck you, Activision.
Also, so Mr. Kotick on his this just came out yesterday.
Don't give him the
Okay.
fucking honor of
Good
calling him
ol'
Mr. Kotick. Call him that fucking
Bobbert Kotick did
moon-faced piece of shit. Is moon-faced?
that just
Let's
means
cut
like
that.
chubby.
Does it?
Yeah.
I've always been a little
Like
iffy about that.
round. It's like a round face.
I always thought it meant big round eyes. Like
No, those are like big. Anyway, so he did
Cut all
threaten
that.
to kill his assistant and flight attendant on his private jet.
Oh,
So that was something that happened.
yeah, cool.
He's a bad person.
I feel like we're going to learn a lot about how to handle people like this in this upcoming episode. I'm just saying.
Oh. Way back in the day.
Oh, when Yuri
Younger
commits a hate crime.
listeners- Yeah.
When Yuri starts murdering everyone. Yuri's the most complex protagonist I think we've ever had in one of these games.
I got something to say to our younger listeners. Younger listeners, way back in the day in the 1980s, when game companies were starting to become a thing, as opposed to sort of independent game developers like Roberta Williams working out of her garage, there was a attitude in among the CEOs of these newly founded game companies that programmers were terrible nerds who couldn't do anything in a social life, especially meet women. So it became common for them to attract people to work for these companies by promising them access to women. And they would work very hard on their projects, and then they would, bring in a bus full of essentially sex workers for the programmers to meet and interact with. And that attitude has never left the game industry. Women are seen as perks.
Even Ken Williams?
Johnny?
Yeah.
Especially Ken Williams.
Especially Ken Williams. And it's real bad, and there aren't fewer women than men who are interested in going into the game industry. There are many fewer women than men that stay in the game industry once they realize how terrible it is for them. Why is this a problem for you? A man, you ask? Why
But
should
a
you
lot of
care?
our listeners aren't men.
Well, I'm talking to the men specifically.
Okay.
Because
Why is that a problem for me?
Why is that a
man?
problem for you, a man? This is a problem because as a game fan, you should want the best, most many games as you can have. And the more people with different perspectives making games, the more games we're going to get that are new and unique and fun and good.
We're going to have a conversation about different perspectives making things in just a few minutes.
Yeah. So as you can hear, there are lots of hot gaming news, and it's all terrible.
Can I do my little bit on hot gaming news?
Please do.
Yeah.
Because I got two items. One,
Oh, okay.
Halo released a month early. The multiplayer, it's for free.
Yeah.
So you
it
can
was
play
a
it.
big thing.
I need to download it. I was just reading a review on
Apparently it's
Polygon
great.
today. It sounds fun. I like a Halo.
Also, Microsoft has they are ending their backwards compatibility workshop where they've been going through
wow.
and making games backwards compatible, which is a big bummer for me because I love a backwards compatibility. I bet we could pressure them. Not through hate
doing
mail
it
or death
a few
threats,
more
but
releases.
being nice to
Save the project hashtag save whatever John said.
Yeah, I like backwards compatibility. Anyway, so some of the titles that have been backwards compatibilized onto the new consoles include that Mortal Kombat 9 reboot that is now playable on old consoles. Nier Gestalt, which is that first version of Nier with Daddy Nier guy.
Now playable on new consoles, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. And playable on new consoles with Daddy Nier guy instead of the Twink Nier guy. And the Dead or Alive series, including Dead or Alive 4, which is great. I love that game.
I love those dumb games. They're always fun, even though
they play really well.
Even though the jiggle physics,
The jizzle scissors
are, even though the
Physics.
jiggle physics are outrageous, those games are fun as hell.
So that is I like my retro gaming. But that's it for my gaming news. Boo, 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 boo.
We should try to start like an online petition to get them. Like, Square Roots is the perfectly placed thing to do it. Dear Microsoft, our entire podcast revolves around talking about games that you have put out on your system because we all play on an Xbox now. Please never stop.
Well,
we need all of them.
But I want to
Dear
get a
Microsoft, at the
PS5
very
as
least,
well
do
at some
all
point.
of the... What were you saying, John?
I said I want to get a PS5 at some point.
Oh, yeah, me too, for sure. The
I
sooner the better. Fuck Microsoft.
do not want Microsoft to ever be aware of this podcast. In fact, I don't want anyone who actually works in games or does anything with them to know what we're doing over
Well,
here.
Squaresoft knows about at least Squaresoft's marketing knows about our podcast.
Yeah, they
Butterfinger
found
knows we
out.
exist.
Butterfinger knows. Squaresoft
Butterfinger knows everything.
Hollywood knows. But that's it. I'm drawing the
All
line.
right.
Cutting it off.
Folks, I'm going to muscle my way into this conversation and say, I think that's enough hot
Oh,
gaming
look at
news.
Matt's muscles. Has he been working out?
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Matt's
Are we
got
going
buys
to,
and tries.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that I'm the strongest man in Florida now? Not because I worked out, but because I killed and ate the man that had the title before me.
Great job.
Anyway, let's talk about how we all leveled up. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to go. Is that okay?
Well, that's okay with me, but I do think we should maybe address the gym event in the building, or more
Oh, yeah, I forgot to
accurately,
mention
that's
that.
not
Why?
in
He's
the
not here.
building.
He's not here sometimes. It's not a big deal that I need an explanation every time.
It's not here. It's not a big deal.
God knows when I'm not here, you don't even fucking mention it.
That's
Wait,
not true.
that's not true. We
That's
talk about
100%
your
true.
tummy and
Yeah, we talk about your tum-tum
Butt stuff.
problems, about how you're on the toilet. Jim,
Yep.
who actually is having stomach problems, just gets a pass, apparently.
yeah.
I'm not buying Jim's sick excuse, by the way.
You think that he made up that he threw up Mountain Bowl Code Red and...
Yes.
Oh,
It's a really specific. No, I'm kidding. All right, well, let's go ahead and move into our level up segment. That's our segment.
Level
up. Level up. I spent a lazy Sunday this week watching just a buttload of stuff. So I'll talk about a little bit of it. I watched that new movie on Netflix called Red Notice.
Oh, with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds and
Yes.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Correct on all three. It seemed to be getting kind of bad reviews, but I was bored and I was like, you know what? Like, I'll see for myself. Like, if it's bad, it's fine. But I actually liked it quite a bit. I thought it was good. I thought that Ryan Reynolds and The Rock had good chemistry. I think The Rock plays a great straight man for Ryan Reynolds to bounce off of.
wait, what?
I thought it had... He plays a good straight man for Ryan Reynolds to
I
bounce
bounced
his
off
bottom
of you
off of.
straight.
They had good chemistry.
It's
like,
very
they had
curious,
good,
isn't it,
Buddy,
Johnny?
they're not cops, so it's not buddy cop, but they had good like buddy partner chemistry. So that made the movie enjoyable, and it had a lot of good action set pieces that I thought looked great and were fun to watch.
I look great and I'm fun to watch.
There's a chase scene through Prague, I think. Wait, no. Ugh. There's two movies that I watched. I also watched Army of Thieves, but I didn't finish it because it was good but not great. And
Is that the movie
But it
that's
also
about
was kind of-
zombies but not? It's like, here's what happens before zombies happen, and it's
Yeah,
just a normal
kinda.
movie about normal people,
No.
and there are no zombies.
no, it's you know what, Vanessa? I think you would not hate that Army of Thieves movie. Actually, it doesn't have Zack Snyder had nothing to do with it.
Oh, good.
It's the guy that played the character in the movie, and the character was like just a weirdo safecracker in that Army of Dead Zack Snyder movie. And then apparently he managed to talk them into giving him enough money to make his own little spinoff about him. So it's written and directed by him, and it's got a few other recognizable people in it. But it's about them doing like safe cracking. That was pretty good too, actually. But I didn't finish it because I was sleepy. But I think Vanessa might like it. It's a bit of a who's floppy haired, you know?
Oh. Interesting.
He might be a Vanessa boyfriend. He's kind of a goof, and he's German, so he does do a lot of like Scheiße, but you know, you get used. It took me a little. After a minute, I was like, "Oh, this guy's pretty charming." Anyway, I was watching Red Notice. I watched Red Notice. Gal Gadot was fantastic, and overall, I thought it had a bunch of good twists. None of it was particularly like mind blowing, but like there's only so many twists, I think, sometimes. And I think they did a good job with what they had. And anyway, I liked it. I thought it was way better than I was led to believe. I also watched, I hope one of you watched this next one. I watched a great movie, a fantastic movie, another Netflix movie. I watched The Harder They Fall. What? Did you guys watch that?
No.
Fuck. Jim did. And I was really excited to talk about it. All right, great. Well, I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to try to do it fast because I want to monopolize time. I watched the Netflix movie The Harder They Fall. It starred Idris Elba and a variety of other people. It's a Western. The entire cast basically is all black. It's very clearly like, I don't know, I should look it up real quick, but I'm really positive that the writer, director, must also be people of color, right? Like, it is a very black movie. That sounds racist when I say it, doesn't it?
A little bit, but I do understand what you're trying to say. You're saying like it is a movie that celebrates black people who are often overlooked in the Western genre.
And on top of that, it is a movie that is, written, directed, and entire cast-wise, almost, I think, all black people and people of color. And it has a lot of modern filmmaking and modern cultural ticks to it. The soundtrack, for example, has a lot of rap. The dialogue has a lot of more modern, not slang for sure, but just more modern patter, I guess. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't want to give a big spoilers, but there is one point in the movie where suddenly they have to go to a white town, and you kind of, for a minute there, it almost feels like a Western fantasy where it's like, oh, so it's like the West, but everybody's black. But then you realize, no. They're all black, and they live in black towns, and they rob black towns and black gangsters, but they don't go near the whites. Which, again, made it feel like historically relevant with kind of like a Hamilton type thing, like with a modern viewpoint. It's fucking fantastic. That's what I'm trying to get at. The Harder They Fall. Everybody gives a killer performance. Idris Elba is the antagonist and is fantastic. Jonathan Majors plays the protagonist. Zazie Beetz is in it and is, oh God, I love Zazie Beetz. Regina King was fantastic as well, and just a ton of other people. One big shout out for me, David Wayans Jr., who I just adore more than any other man on the planet. He's maybe in contention for my top 3 favorite people.
What about
because
Jim?
Of his role in Happy Endings. And he does have a small role, and I was just so happy to see him.
Wow,
No I even watched that.
response.
What about Jim?
Yeah, what about
Jim's
Jim?
not. Listen, y'all are my friends, but you're not real like celebrities are real.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Anyway, The Harder They Fall. That was fantastic. It's a fantastic movie. I was shocked. So I watched I ended up watching 3 movies on Netflix on Sunday. And shockingly enough, I loved every single one of them. Isn't that crazy? Netflix is all garbage movies. I think the last time I watched a new release movie on Netflix, it was Bright. And I was like, oh no, never again.
Oh, I remember what that was about. I did not watch that.
Okay, well, I've already been talking too long, but I will take one moment to bring up one more thing. Has anybody heard of or watched Genlock?
No.
John? No?
I haven't watched a movie
It's not a movie.
in like 3
Genlock
months.
is a animated series. It was originally produced by Rooster Teeth and was like a web series. It stars Michael B. Jordan, Dakota Fanning, a couple of other people. David Tennant is in it.
Ooh, interested.
The girl that plays Arya Stark is in it. It's a computer animated show, 30-minute episodes about a kind of, not too far future where America's at war with itself, and America's at war with itself, and Michael B. Jordan and his crew of misfits has to save everything in their mech suits. wow, wow, wow. Vanessa's out.
I hate a mech.
There's not a ton of mech in it, even though it is a mech show, actually. But it has a lot of really great stuff. The animation's pretty sharp. It's not like Netflix, like Arcane sharp, but it's like good enough. Anyway, so for whatever reason, season 1 was really good. And I don't want to get into spoilers, but I liked it a lot. It was an independently produced type thing. But HBO Max picked it up and now is releasing season 2 episodes on the same day as episodes of Young Justice. So I decided to binge watch the first season. Well, I decided to check it out, and then I binge watched the first season. And now I'm watching the week-to-week episodes. And you know what, folks? If you have not heard of or watched Genlock, it's an adult animated series. It's not an anime. It's a little anime-ish, but it's not an anime. It's not a kid's show that's just good enough for adults. It's fantastic, and I think that everybody should check it out. Genlock, and it's on HBO Max these days. All right. I talked too long. Vanessa,
Yes.
how did you level up?
I watched a movie called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Excuse me. 2 things.
Mhm.
1, it is Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
2, I know that because my son corrected my pronunciation the other day, and I was very proud of him.
Yeah, you told us about that. That was adorable.
Cool. I told him that too.
Yeah.
I said I told him later, like the next day.
Yeah. Like at the time you were
Shang-Chi.
like, don't ever
Shang-Chi.
correct me again.
No,
And
I
then
didn't at all. I
gave
just
him
said,
the
"Oh,
back
yeah."
of your hand.
I was like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And then I like thought about it, and I was like, no, he was leaving to go to school when he told me.
Mhm.
So then that afternoon I saw him, and I was like, hey, buddy, you were right, and I'm proud of you.
That's
Aw.
really cool.
Everybody at home that needs a surrogate dad, you're welcome. You can
Aw.
take that, cut it out of this episode, play it on a loop while you
Just
sleep.
make a sound drop of it. You were right.
I'm sorry to
proud
interrupt you,
of
Vanessa. I also watched Shang-Chi, but I will not interrupt you. Please tell me all about your experience.
I enjoyed this movie. It is a Marvel movie. It is done in the sort of wire fu style, which Western audiences of a particular generation, not mine, I'm much younger, became aware of with the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's a really old movie that old people like. Of course, it existed before that, but that was sort of the big crossover film to the United States. If you like dance, you probably like Wire Fu because it's just a lot of really great choreography. And if you like Wire Fu and you don't think you like dance, think again. You do, buddy.
All right, I'm going to have to interrupt you here. There is definitely a lot of wire fu, as you were putting it, which I feel is like an offensive term. But
I don't think so.
there's also a ton of like, it's not just that type of action. There's also a ton of like Jackie Chan, Jet Li style close-up, fast,
That's true.
martial arts action, and not just the fluttery, dancey. Though there's plenty of that too.
Matt's not
But I
kidding.
think that like somebody gave Jet Li a Marvel budget, and it's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. There were a couple of things that I did not enjoy as much. I guess put on your spoiler ears. I'll try to be vague. There were some cutesy elements that I thought were a little bit too cute for me.
Ooh, I'm gonna need more detail on that. Which cutesy elements?
So I like it. I like porgs. Fine.
Like what?
Porgs. You know a porg?
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't feel this movie needed a porg in it.
Gotcha. What about the big porgs, though?
Okay, the big porgs I'm fine with. Especially the very big porg what live in a particular place. I liked the actors. I especially loved the guy who played I'm gonna say it wrong. Shang-Chi?
The father?
Shang-Chi's father? And that actor's name, this is the part of the show where I
That's
draw
fine. I'll vamp for you.
out my words.
I agree
so
that
I
he was fantastic, and I think that in the context of the movie, he's another fantastic villain for Marvel. Like, I know that they had some real stinkers, but they've also had some real good ones, and he's one of the good ones. Like, he's so, I don't know, like he's a bad guy, but like they really make you fucking relate to him.
He's
it works.
super
Like,
charismatic. Like, he was just
yeah.
incredible
Oh,
to watch
that's
on
a good.
screen.
That's a good point too. Like, that's hard to that's hard to dismiss.
Yeah. And Aquafina was in it as well.
Oh,
She was great.
she has been in 3 things lately that have been so good. That Raya and the Last Dragon, and one other thing.
I don't know
Whatever the other thing was.
what it was.
She's
She's great.
she's
and
quickly becoming one of my favorites.
I really enjoyed that the friendship between her character and the lead character. It's something that
It was nice to see like a platonic male-female relationship.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, it had tons of women in it, which was great. Lots of interesting female characters.
Almost entirely people of color as the cast. I mean, I know that should not be shocking in a movie about a bunch of Asian and Asian American people, but I mean, it's Hollywood, so it is shocking.
Yeah, it was even less white people than Black Panther, I would say. Fewer white people.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
People.
I want to rewatch it so bad, but I'm waiting for the kids. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, that's it. That's how I leveled up. I'm done.
I loved it, and I have been dying to hear your opinion all week, but I knew that you would just be coy with me until we recorded, so I didn't spend the week bothering you. But I'm glad.
Yeah, someone had told me that they had heard it was not as good as other Marvel movies. I don't think that's
John
true.
didn't like it, right?
I said it was okay.
John has not had one word to say this entire time we've been talking about it, even though he did see it.
Yeah.
Johnny.
I thought it was fine. Yeah.
John's low energy tonight.
It felt very Chinese to me, and I don't know if it authentically was. Like, I don't have the expertise to say if it was or not, but it certainly pulled off making me, a white person who is not Chinese, feel like it was a Chinese, very heavily influenced movie.
I mean, I think that it was fully integrated, and I do think that, I mean, most of these movies didn't start with guaranteed sequels, right? Like, we were not sure if we were getting an Ant-Man 2, a Doctor Strange 2, you know. Obviously, the first round did have guaranteed sequels. But I'm sure that we'll get a sequel to this, and I thought it was amazing, and I can't wait to see what else they can do with it.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing...
Now, as a hardcore Marvel Comics fan, Vanessa, how do you feel about the fact that they really radically altered Shang-Chi's story and abilities?
I think it's totally fine. Look, in the, I don't know when Shang-Chi debuted, but let's say, 1970s.
70s, yeah.
They were not, doing their research in this.
No, it was Shang-Chi was a direct, just like Iron Fist and Luke Cage, they were all direct ripoffs of blaxploitation and Asian exploitation cinema. That's what they are. No bones about it.
Yep. So, I think it's totally fine to change that. I am not a purist about that in any way.
Agree.
I mean, I'm rarely a purist about anything, but,
The story they came up with for the main villain of the story, as opposed to his real origins, I mean, what's to say?
Yeah,
just
it's great.
100 times better. But that's good. It's good to modernize these characters in ways that can then lead them to new. Between Shang-Chi and The Harder They Fall this weekend, I watched a lot of non-white, but American Hollywood films, and it was pretty fucking awesome, actually.
It's great.
More of both.
Yeah. We like it. Everyone likes it.
I keep interrupting you, Vanessa, and I said I wouldn't. But should we move on to John?
It's all right. I didn't believe you. Yes.
Tried.
Let's move on
I muted myself.
to John because...
But then you kept saying wire foo, and it was really fucking with me.
That's what it's called.
Boy, that feels not good, though.
I didn't...
It's wire martial arts,
you can Google
action.
that term.
Buddy, I know what it is. There's a lot of terms I can Google and see what they mean and feel like they're
true.
not good terms to use on our show.
Well, I don't know. If I am mistaken and it is a problematic term, I would be delighted to be corrected, and I will not use it anymore because
What do you
that's
think, John? Weigh in.
what you should do.
No.
No, Johnny is not the person who I am
John,
going to take that input
Buddy, will you please go have a cup of coffee? Like, you can take a break. We'll take over for a little bit.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Take
fine.
5, have a cup of coffee,
I'm good.
smoke a cigarette, do some fucking crunches,
Slap yourself in the face.
slap yourself in the face, splash some cold water in your face, then slap yourself in the face, then put cold meat on your face.
Mm-hmm. Come on, it will be
We
funny.
love you.
Do
we
it.
love you, John. John, tell us how you leveled up, please.
Hello, friends. I'm sorry that I'm
Scripted this.
low energy today. We're recording later in the week, and generally the later in the week we record, the later I've worked at work, and this does result in some lower energy because I haven't slept as much. So, with that said, let me talk about since I missed the last episode. Things have happened. There's lots of games I can talk about. Forza Horizon 5 has released, and I have played lots of that. That game is pretty. It's fun. You can make all sorts of fun car wraps, and what I love is you can give cars away to people. So, for instance, you could put a some kind of anime wrap or like Pokemon covered wrap on a car, or like a furry fox holding a baby Pokemon in a diaper car, and then give that away to a random user. And I find that delightful because I like messing with people and I think it's funny, but in like a fun way, not in a bad way. And that game, yeah, it's real fun. Driving around Mexico is interesting. It is a sponsored by, or like made in part with the Mexico Tourism Board game.
Oh.
So it's like a very positive portrayal of Mexico compared with how it usually looks in games where it is yellow for some reason. This Mexico
That's awesome.
is very vibrant and like shows amazing architecture,
Yeah.
cool
Mexico's gorgeous.
historic landmarks, big city. Well, actually, you know what? There isn't that many big cities. I'd say that's the one downside of this game, is it does not have like Ciudad de Mexico or anything like that, and it probably should have, because I like the street racing. It does have some like mid-sized towns that are really fun to drive around in, but I do think it's missing like that street scene feel that you could totally have gotten. There's lots of big cities in Mexico, but still, it is a beautiful game with like lots of different environments, like volcano, there's beaches, there's jungle, there's plains, lots of fun events. The racing, I feel, is the physics is really good. So I actually like the races a lot, and yeah, super pretty. And it also like runs on everything from a base Xbox One to the Series X, and looks great on every console, which I like too.
Is that on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Oh boy. You know what? I'll download that. I don't like a racing game, but sometimes I do.
And this one's like you can just mess around with your friends and have fun. It's a goofy,
Yeah.
It's a goofy racing game. Like I know Julian, he doesn't like racing games, and he's not, he's very self-described bad at them, but he likes this game a lot because he likes the graphics and messing around with all the bonus stuff. Like, you basically do not have to win races to play this game. I did get a Game & Watch Zelda edition yesterday.
A Neil Gaiman watch?
A Neil Gaiman watch!
And I'm using it as a desk clock for the office. So I get this like cute little Zelda fighting Weeblers and Octoroks and all that as the time appears, and he like goes in and out of dungeons and I always call him Zelda, but I mean Link.
Yeah, that thing looks amazing.
It's very
I want
cute.
It so, how much was it?
$50 US, I think.
Really? So cheap?
Yeah. And well, I mean, you're not getting it to play the games, for me at least.
Why?
I think that, well, but it's just the clock is where they put most of the effort into. You can still play games on it too.
I heard a review that it was great for playing those games.
Okay. Well,
I think there's something that said, like, basically, I don't remember where it was, but it basically said, like, really showcases what a single-focused console like that can do.
mm-hmm. But I think that a lot of the effort went into for the clock being really fun. And so that is what I would recommend it for. However, just because you can play all those games elsewhere. But the specialness is the clock.
But not on my clock.
Exactly. There's a couple other games that I played, and now my brain's blanking. I was just thinking,
Oh, man, did you play... I forgot, for our Hot Gaming News segment, we should have talked about that amazing-sounding Warner Brothers Smash Brothers ripoff.
Oh, gosh.
With Dragon Ball, Scooby, or Shaggy, and
isn't that the
Arya
Is that the
and
Nickelodeon
Batman.
one?
No.
Oh.
It's not.
It's
This one's got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Shaggy, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, some other people.
I mean, I will say I'm kind of excited to see Batman just beat the shit out of Bugs Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
It's and Bugs Bunny. It's Kevin Conroy, at least. It's the actual voice actors doing the roles. Graphically, from the video that I saw, it actually looked really sharp and good. What do I care?
But
it's a free-to-play
weird.
fucking...
It's so weird,
But it's free,
Matt.
so I'm going to download it.
It's
Oh,
so
it's
weird.
free?
Free to play, baby. So they'll make you buy more characters, but like I won't get that far. I'll make they one of the things they showcased was that Shaggy has Dragon Ball Z powers, like that hilarious meme from last year. So
Well,
it's very
that's cool.
in the moment sounding, I guess. Sounds dumb, but I'm here for it. I'm sorry I interrupted your level up with some hot gaming news.
And he promised not to interrupt you.
I don't think I did. I,
don't think
promised
he
not to
did.
interrupt you.
Yeah. Failure.
And then I interrupted him way less than I interrupted you. You were
Uh,
talking about things I wanted to talk about.
this
He
is
was
like
talking
an
about
hour-long intro, so let's get to the podcast.
Yeah, this is our
Holy
longest
shit.
chunker ever. We should probably.
I don't think it'll be that. It wasn't that long. You guys lied. I
What?
tore through this. The desert is just walking forward. I mean, there's a lot of cutscenes, but all the cutscenes are
Wait,
just
I thought you didn't-
recapping what happened.
I thought you didn't finish this chunker.
Oh, I never said that. I finished it.
Oh, okay.
I said
I
that.
finished it a half hour before we fucking started, sir. Thanks. Got my airship. That's why I called you Bilal. Because he turns into the airship. So you're going to get real girthy.
Baul.
Baul, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I even went to the crag and landed there and got the cutscene, but then I went back and saved because I want to go explore.
That's why I did too.
Right. Deal with that. Boom, suckers. I'm caught up. Vanessa, this is your week.
This is my week. It's my week to shine, and I hope that everyone's
It's time for
ready.
us to get into, we have to say it, right? It's time for us to get into the next segment, which is Vanessa's Wonderlog.
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 Welcome to Vanessa's Wonderlog. I'm
John, we should
Vanessa.
start a band.
I'm Vanessa.
John's never looked more disgusted in his life. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi. You may remember that last time we had gone through this big old cave and set our little feet into the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's hot, hot, hot. Not very far into the desert, we run into a little town called, I don't know, Mantiac.
Mhm.
Mantiac?
Mantaic?
Mantike.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mantike.
it's such an awkward name. Mantike.
Mm-hmm.
This town sucks. It is very small. We do find our friend, the Wonder Chef here, as well as the Wonder Reporter. Did you find him?
I
He's
didn't
over by
find.
the chef. He's behind a tree.
Did you get to see him?
Nope.
Oh.
So in this town, there's basically nobody out on the streets. Guards are everywhere, and everyone's like, "Get the heck out of this town." You go to the inn, and there's a guard there, and the innkeeper is like, welcome to this town. Please stay the night and then leave as quickly as possible. Okay, bye. But after we have a little sleep, we wake up, the guard is gone, and the innkeeper has put together some stuff for us to go into the desert. And the innkeeper's like, listen up, these knights are here to make sure we don't talk to anyone. They've been taking people away. It super sucks here. Save yourselves.
And of course, there's a 50-minute cutscene about whether or not you should stay and help
Estelle's gonna
them. Maybe Estelle has to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Every cutscene is bookended with whether or not Estelle is going to come with us.
Yeah. It's like, Estelle, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to stay with you.
Even when we're in the middle of nowhere and she has nowhere to go other than backwards alone.
They're like,
she's
so
"I
Estelle,
don't
are you
know."
going to go backwards alone or are you going to stay here? And then Judy is always sort of lecturing her like, you can't just save everyone. You have to decide who you want to save. And she's like, then I want to save these people. And it's always whoever she just met last. She's a lot like Grunk in that way. Whoever told her to do something last, that's what she'll do.
right, yeah.
This gets very annoying over the course of, I mean, it's already annoying, but it really grates by the end of this chunker. Like, you are so ready for her to just shut up. Join the guild, leave. I don't care anymore.
Be the emperor. We find some kids on our way out of town, and they're like, hey, our mom and dad were taken into the desert. We're going to go save them. And you're like, no.
Yeah,
we'll
you will
save them.
die in that desert. You don't have the provisions. You will get killed. So there is one thing I want to talk about in this game. Every time you go to a town, the party splits up. You get a little notification that everyone's left the party except for Yuri. And then you have to find and talk to every single party member scattered around the town. And then you go trigger like either leaving the town or going to bed. Usually it's going to bed. And there's another cutscene there. What do you think of that mechanic and why is it every time? Okay.
I think it's great. I do think it's way overused, but I do get a weird, like, so y'all know that I'm a big introvert, right? I do get a weird sense of relief when everybody leaves Yuri alone for a little bit. I'm like, freedom. I like it. You get to wander around the town a bit. You can go, maybe in some places I think you can take Yuri outside, right? And just run around by yourself.
Most of the time it won't let you leave without. It'll be like...
Jim mentioned taking Yuri out alone. I don't think I've done it. But the point is, I like it. I don't think it should be every single town, and a lot of times it does it when there's no reason, but it does do it a lot when there's something big, relevant plot-wise that you kind of want to get a feel for, not everybody necessarily, but at least a few people.
Yeah.
And I think it's another thing that this game does very well, which is invests a lot of time in just spending time getting to know these characters, which can result in them repeating themselves over and over about inane bullshit. But, when it comes to some of them are pretty interesting. I like Rita a lot. I like Judith a lot. Karol's a very interesting character I've grown to like somehow.
I think Karol's very likable.
Estelle annoys me, but I really...
Likable.
Let's not go there. I like Raven a lot. I like that one of your characters is a dog and just agrees with you on everything. And I mean, it's too much, but that's my answer. Is I like it.
What about you, Vanessa?
I do usually enjoy things like this, where you can talk to your party members, like I liked it in Dragon Age. But I do think it's overused here, and it especially annoys me that you can never find Judith until you try to leave town, and then Yuri's always like, oh my god, you just walked into town.
That's where she always is.
Doing? Yeah. But once you figure that out, she's always in the same place. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I like that it always makes you have a conversation with the dog, even though it's just a dumb skit. Like, that stuff is charming.
The the conversation with Karol is interesting because if you remember last time, Jaeger did spoil the fact that he believes Yuri was involved in the death of...
No, that's this episode.
Is that this episode?
Yes, it for sure.
Okay.
It's a whole point.
Oh, you're right. Well, wait, I thought he mentioned it. Oh, no, he just sort of alluded to it.
Somebody.
Yeah.
No. They found last week. We found out that Rago was dead. That's it. Last week we found out that Rago was dead.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
They found his body.
So you head into the desert once you've got everyone's got their own canteens. If you go into your inventory, you can see the cute canteen that everybody has. Karol's
really
got a
weird.
kid one, and
Yeah.
You
There's,
can equip them on your people.
Mm-hmm.
As
Can
an
you?
attachment. Yeah, if you don't have
really?
the special
That's super
outfits
fun.
on, you can go into
love-
attachments and put them on.
I love those outfits. I spent a good chunk of this game with Yuri in his tank top hero outfit. It really made me laugh.
There's
Estelle's are terrible, but Judith's pirate looking one is great, and Karol's dragon looks like Dragon Quest armor, golden armor,
Yep.
is fantastic, and you can give him a fake mustache and pipe, which makes him look like a tiny man, and I like him a lot more since I did that.
those
And
accessories
just an
you can
FYI,
actually
I may have mentioned
upgrade.
this last week, but you can also give Repede a fake mustache and pipe, and it does not replace his pipe, so he does have a little pipe and a big pipe and a fake mustache. He looks amazing.
I'm sorry,
go
John. I gave Karol the lunch lady outfit. I dressed him in that. And then he did have some unique dialogue where he was like, "Order up," and they were like, "What are you talking about?"
That's
and
fun.
he's like, "I feel like serving food when I wear these clothes."
Is that
I
at the end
finally
of the
switched-
No, just walking around. It's a little sketch.
fight?
skip.
Oh,
I like I liked Yuri's knight outfit. That's what he looks like now. I gave him a blue visor, so he kind of looks like a Star Ocean character now.
ooh. Now,
Wait, how do you upgrade them? And what does that do?
I was about to tell you.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize. I'm just trying to make sure.
In Dongrest, I did
Pissy sleepy John.
run into a lady who's the fashion queen of Dongrest, and she will upgrade all your accessories and give you a new improved extra special. So instead of just glasses and a pipe, it's and a mustache, she adds a hat to it, and she just upgrades every single one of those dumb accessories.
So she's in Dongrest?
Yeah, she's
So I gotta
in,
go there right away.
She's in the bar. One of the
I'll be
bars.
right back. I'm
in
gonna
the
go get my Switch
She's
out of the living room.
upstairs at a bar in Dongrest.
Yes.
Cool. That's amazing. Thank you for informing me of that.
Repede has little dolls of each character that can ride on him.
Yes.
And she will upgrade it so you can have all of the dolls ride on Repede all at once.
Where do you
Oh.
get the outfit?
It's in the bonus pack stuff. So you have to go into your bonus pack items.
Maybe
and
one of the titles.
open
I
it
didn't
up.
mess with the titles.
Yeah, it's
and I
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of them give you extra weird stuff.
It's not
Yeah,
the title.
all
it's
that
Well,
like
I'll
DLC.
mess around with that. Thanks,
attachment.
guys. I do really love the outfits in this one. It's weird how this is not the first one. I know that a lot of these games have this, but it's weird how fun it is to give them goofy costumes once you get tired of their faces.
Well, especially since they show up in the cutscenes, so it's really fun to see Yuri dressed as Ziggy Stardust in one of these cutscenes. So you head out into the desert, and here, in your first trip to the desert, there's a whole moisture mechanic. Basically, there's these little cactuses, and you can zap them with your wand, and that does produce a little bit of water to refill your canteen. So you have to sort of explore this area while not running. I don't know what happens. I assume you die, and I don't like dying in this game because there's no continues. It just kicks you back to the title screen. So it is quite
For
obnoxious.
a remaster, it's got a couple of really glaring flaws, and that's one of them. That's obnoxious. And the other one is that there's no fucking auto scroll for the dialogue, which is obnoxious considering how long and fucking boring these cutscenes are.
Apparently, the new Shin Megami Tensei 5 also just kicks you back to the title screen if you die. There's no continues. It's come on, it's 2021. Just give us a continue. It's fine.
That one's definitely going to make one of my lists next year.
What list?
A vote. That one's making a vote.
Okay.
Shin Megami Tensei 4, 5, whatever the new one is.
Mm-hmm. You could do 3.
Dragon Quest 11 Ultimate Edition.
Sure. So you go through the desert, and there's lots of the annoying thing about the desert is that while I like grinding for XP and money, that there is a lot of enemies that will paralyze you, and that's really obnoxious because you got to get someone to heal you, and no one, like, they'll either keep, well, I have it requests on, so they'll keep asking to use items, and it's never the paralyzing cure. They don't seem very interested in that, and Estelle's
I
like,
didn't have that problem. That's funny, though. That sucks.
Estelle was very uninterested in curing Yuri. One thing I didn't realize is during a fight, you can actually switch who the controlled character is by going into your menu by pressing triangle or Y and then, or X on Switch, and then hitting start. You can actually switch characters. I didn't realize that.
There's a flag you can get that if you give it to the character, makes them the leader. And it makes them the playable character in combat.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's something you sent, actually. I think you should look for that. Because you can definitely play as everybody, and they all have... Now, I certainly am not going to do that. But it's there for people that want it.
Well, like, there's a boss coming up that has a special way of defeating it.
Oh, they all do, right? They all have
Yeah.
secret... They all have secret missions. I very rarely get them.
Right.
Sometimes I get them because I kill them so fast.
Yeah. So at the end of this dungeon, well, there is a Giganto that I could not defeat. I tried both on the way there and spoiler on the way back.
What dungeon are we talking about here?
This
Where
is
are
the
we?
desert. This is the first. The sands of Kogor.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, So I found big boy on the way back. Actually,
I had been tricked and fooled by Jim about this section. He said it took him like 4 hours to get through. So I was like, oh my God, I have to like really rush through here and not look around. It took me like half an hour to walk across it.
Yeah, it didn't take super long.
I don't even think it takes that long. I think it's
Yeah.
5 minutes and 5 minutes and maybe 5 minutes. Because there's 3 chunks to it, right? But you know what? Luckily Vanessa had already played it and was making fun of Jim about it because Jim was like, "I got so lost," and Vanessa was like, "You just go up, dummy." So then I played it and I was like, "I just go up."
Yeah, it really didn't seem that difficult. It wasn't like
This is where Jim was at in the game when I went to Texas because he handed me the controller and I played around in the desert for a while.
Oh.
And I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait until I get all these sweet new skills." Do you guys use the R stick for your arts at all?
Uh-huh.
yeah, of course.
That's
wait.
become my big go-to.
Well, I use that for other people's arts. So, like, I can put map healing from Estelle's.
Oh,
onto
can you
that.
map other characters' arts onto that?
Yes.
You know what? Mine are really good about staying on top of that shit. I have Estelle and Rita set to just fucking shoot fireballs and to heal people, and it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Vanessa,
Yeah, hi. So we go
how
through
do we
the
get out of this
desert.
desert?
We just go straight. We do find the parents of those children. Estelle used...
At the very top of the desert.
Yeah, like right near the end. There's an oasis in the middle. We get a little cutscene. Then we find the parents, and they're like dying. And Estelle is like, "Oh, I can cure that." She cures them up. They're like, "Oh my God, who are you? We were dying." They keep sending us out into the desert to look for Pharaoh. And they're like, "Why would they send like lay people to look for Pharaoh? We don't know." But we do learn, I think, that it's Cumore who was doing it.
Mhm. He's a bad man.
Yep. Cumore, of course, is the fancy man. We'll talk about him a little bit later
Mm-hmm.
with his fancy heart-shaped cloak.
We've talked about Kimura quite a bit.
We then continue on our journey, and we find a beautiful town.
What about the
That's not what happens.
weird
We
manta
travel through
ray?
the desert. Yeah. We
Right.
travel through the desert again until we fight. Is it? Do you think it's a manta ray?
It's like a weird, like, blue manta ray thing.
I just kind of saw it as like a blob, like a grayish blob.
Okay.
But you could be right. You're probably right.
and you fight that, but then afterwards you're so tired and out of water.
It's so stupid.
Everyone does collapse.
Everybody has to collapse one by one and get a one-liner in, and it's so fucking obnoxious game. Nobody needs every character to have a line in every scene.
Mm-hmm. And at that point,
that's some Rogue Galaxy shit.
A feather does fall that Yuri finds. He's like, "What? A feather?" Then you do collapse, and suddenly, instead of dying, you wake up in a bed in a hotel.
Well, you see, doesn't Yuri see something pick them up? He does.
Yeah, he thinks he sees a bird.
Yeah, he thinks so. But he sees, well, I think we all knew what it was. It was the, not Pharaoh, but the other one.
Baul?
Not Bilal. No, not Bilal. Baul. Maybe it was Baul. It's not. It was one of the bird monsters.
Yeah, isn't Baul a bird monster?
No, Baul's a whale monster.
Oh. No, Baul's a dragon.
You're a dragon. Dragon these nuts across the desert.
It was one of them anyway. I wasn't sure if it was Pharaoh. Mm-hmm.
No, it's the other one. Vanessa, which one was it?
I don't know.
Who saved us? Come on.
Well, it's a mystery. We don't know at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're
it's not a mystery. You see the fucking thing.
They don't know.
They all kind of look alike.
Yuri thinks it's Judith.
No, one's a fox. One's a whale.
What?
One's a bird.
What are you talking about?
They all look exactly the same to me, so I don't know. It was one of them.
That's crazy talk.
And you do wake up in this mystery town, and they realize pretty fast this is Jormungand.
Jormungand?
And something's weird in Jormungand. So if you remember, Jormungand is the town that the skeleton captain had wanted to bring back this...
it's the dragon that we saw in the Wee Sand of Kados that fixed the broken air.
Okay, I don't know that dragon.
Yeah, I don't think we know the name.
Right. So this, what's it called? The CL,
clear CL crystal.
Yeah.
The box that we got from the Alcantar, the ghost ship, that has a clear CL crystal in it, was supposed to be delivered to this town.
And everyone's
and we find out that this town is fine because it has a sage.
Yeah, the sage.
But we do give the box to a girl, and she does open the box with a key that she has, and we take the crystal out, and we're like, "Whoa, clear CL crystal!
But
this
the
is
weird
like
thing
solid
is,
air."
That ghost ship was like
AER
1,000 years old. How is she still alive?
Oh yeah, her boyfriend was there and dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
like
you're
a skeleton.
Oh, she must have the same name as someone who lived a long time ago.
It doesn't make sense and is dumb.
And
so
her boyfriend
I bet if you
has
go back
the
to that
same
ship, which
name
is
as
still
someone
there,
who lived
I
a
bet you
long
find some
time
shit out.
ago.
Yeah, that ship does move around too.
It's still there. You can go find it.
She's like, "Oh, go bring this to the sage because this will save the town." And you go to see the sage, and the sage is Diet Sephiroth.
No.
Oh.
The sage is not Diet Sephiroth, but Duke is there, and we mistake him for the sage for a moment, but he does disabuse of that notion. And
I thought he was telling
them
them he was a sage. That was the impression I got, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's not the impression. What, Vanessa? Arbitrate.
He is not the sage.
Okay, so there's you're at the sage's house. This dude is
He
there.
says the sage is long gone.
Yeah.
But this place has like a blessed calm because of the sage. But they may also be... Actually, that kind of maybe resolves the mystery because they might be timeless themselves.
Yes.
They might be ghosts.
He says this town has been like taken out of time.
Yeah.
Here's what I think.
So anyway,
honestly, I think he is the sage, but he's like, your father was killed by Darth Vader, and he's like, the sage, ceased to exist
Good point.
long ago.
Maybe. I still think Duke's the bad guy.
I agree. I think he's going to be
not
like,
saying he's not the bad guy.
humans need to be killed. He's going to murder
The only way
everyone.
to save the echinacea is to kill all the humans.
Yeah. So how do you say? Oh, Atalax. And okay.
No.
Entalachia.
Entalakia.
But what's the name of
Intellexia.
well, we'll talk about the crystals that they generate because I can't say those.
Well, yeah. So we've got the clear seal crystal, and we take it to Duke. But we take it to the sage, but Duke's there. Duke talks to us all about basically how stupid we are, because that's all that guy says. That's how you know he's the bad guy. That's all he talks about.
Yeah, he doesn't answer questions.
Anyway, but he does destroy the clear seal crystal.
Yeah.
And of course, Rita's like, whoa, what? She doesn't understand why he would want to do that. And then he just kind of bails and we leave.
Now, he does say that crystal is... So what's the name of the crystals that the Entalexia leave behind?
No, it's different for each one. The clear seal crystal is...
But there's a name for them.
Apathia.
Yeah. That was an apathia. And he's like, yeah, that's what this thing is. It could be used to save the town and power Blastia, but they don't need to be saved because they've already been removed from time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and smash this. He did not like it.
And Rita gets all mad and demands answers, but once again, he's just like, pusha. Vanessa, I don't remember where we go next. What happens after that?
Then we're like, hey, well, we did this. Let's go back to where we came from.
And why are we fine walking through the desert on the way back? And you don't have to worry about the water?
No water.
I mean, I'm glad.
Because they knew that it would annoy the You know what? Did anybody ever run out of water?
No.
Like, how? It was everywhere.
Yeah, you just go from cactus to cactus. And then it
Water,
turns into night,
water.
And you don't.
What
need water at night.
hast thou don'st?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I do need water at night. I keep some by my bed.
So, yeah, that's right. We head home, or we head back to Mantake, and we don't have to worry about the desert this time, but we do run into a problem when we get back to the Weezand of Kados. Vanessa.
Yes.
Well, first, the parents are real happy. I just want to say that.
Yeah, we saved the parents. Yeah. Yay!
They
We
got
bring them with them. They're not
reunited.
real happy. At this point, they're still with us.
Yeah,
No.
but when you bring them back to Mantaik,
We're not back to Mantaik. We're at the Weezand of Kados. Vanessa.
Yes.
why would we be at the Weezand of Kados?
Why would we be at the Weezand of
Is it not the
Kados?
Weezand of Kados?
No. We're at the Bantique.
No, you have to go through that cave.
No, you
There's
don't.
a whole...
No, we sure don't. Not yet.
Yes, you do.
No,
you have to go...
No.
That doesn't make any sense because the town that we're in is on the same side of the mountains as we are.
All right. I won't argue.
Yeah, thank you. So we go back to
Hey! No, kidding.
we go back to the desert town. There we see
Mantake!
Humor, and he's loading people up onto a wagon. He's
This
like,
is the best part of the game.
hop onto my Humor wagon. You're going to the desert to look for Pharaoh. And we're like, oh, what do we do? And then Karol, as it turns out, has a wrench. And we're like, oh, go get him, Karol. It's your time to shine.
He does unbolt the wheels.
And the thing falls right apart. And everyone's like, hooray, Karol did it. It's Karol's time to shine.
And Kumar is very upset by this development, and we decide that, well, we were tired after a long walk. The family's reunited. Let's take a well-earned rest and go hang out at the inn. And everyone's like, well, we're going to go to sleep. Not going to look at Yuri. We're all going to turn. But before they do, they're like, yeah, it's just sometimes people got to take the law into their own hands and just deal with problems. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, sometimes you do have to just murder a problem. And
like, just take it in your cold hands and just squeeze the life right out of that problem. And Yuri's like, yeah, okay.
yeah, cut to him with a thought balloon. Yeah, murder a problem.
Murder problems.
Problem.
Makes a lot of sense.
So they all go to sleep in their little beds.
I have to interject here.
Yeah.
I just got to get to it. So Yuri sneaks out and he does find Cumore in the night, and he does corner him.
Well, hold on. I think I like Vanessa's interpretation of the scene.
Yep. So Cumore is
It's so
asleep.
exciting, and I want to get to it.
He wakes up and Yuri is standing over him in the dark, and Cumore goes, "Step Yuri, what are you doing here?"
What is your new obsession with step porn?
It's not
It's just that scene does seem very like yaoi.
my obsession. This is
Yes.
This is the internet, my friend. It's
Okay.
on everyone's lips. Yuri is standing over Cumore. Cumore goes as if to fight him, but as it turns out, he cannot fight. Or will not fight. It's unclear. What do you think, Johnny?
No, he's a
Bureaucrat.
He's weak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's weak.
Yeah.
He's not. He's a spoiled brat or a spoiled lord who has never had to do anything himself. Seems to be the case, other than tell people what to do. And when he's faced with Yuri's strong manliness, he, you know what?
He does back
Tell us,
Cumore.
Vanessa. No.
Okay.
No.
I want to hear Johnny say this part because
No, you fucking interrupted. He interrupted me to say he wanted to hear your take on it.
Well, now I'm interrupting you to say I want to hear Johnny's take on this because Johnny believes that this should be tried as a hate crime. And I'm
Of
interested in
course.
that.
I
What are
am.
you talking about? He tripped and fell. Nobody's at fault. It's an act of God. He fell into the quicksand and he did die.
Yeah, he does. So he does basically follows Cumore out of Cumore's house into the shifting sands and gets him real right up against it and is like, well, what are you going to do? You going to fight me? And Cumore's like, I can give you money. There's so much I can give you. If you there's no need to fight. We could be friends.
He's
See?
way more pathetic than that. He's whatever you want. Please don't kill me. It's actually pretty brutal.
And Yuri just advances on him as if to kill him, and then Cumore does back into these shifting sands, and then starts getting sucked into them. And he's like, "Well, you can help me. Come on, I'll give you anything you want." And Yuri just kind of sits there, is like, "Yeah, I thought about it." And of course, what I like in the shot of Yuri is there's a big long rope right next to him.
And he
as
sort of
Cumore-
looks at the rope and looks at Cumore. And I think he does say, "There's only one thing I want from you." And then he just stands there and watches him die.
A hate crime.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. I mean, unless there's good Samaritan laws in this town, I don't see how this is his fault. This man walked into a fucking quicksand and then died.
And I don't see
Yuri's
how
not
it's a
responsible
hate
for saving
crime.
him.
Well,
I also
he
don't see how it's
did
a hate
chase
crime.
the one openly gay character across the town.
Okay, first of all,
And
Cumore
then-
has never said that he's gay.
Yeah, he is not openly
I
gay.
think
If anything,
this is a hate crime.
he is either co-opting gay culture or is a real Mike Pence. And either way, he got what he got.
Yeah. I'm joking, listeners, if you think that I'm actually defending the actions of Cumore. He is a monster. And
No, we don't really think that.
I'm telling listeners.
I'm a listener. I'm listening.
And
Me and Waluigi have been listening to you this whole time.
unlike Jim, I think that he deserved what was coming to him.
Oh, that's right. Jim's a real bootlicker. He still was like,
I don't
Evil
think he
men
should.
that can't be punished by the law should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want forever.
So he does drown in sand, which frankly sounds like a terrible way to go.
It does.
yeah, that's not a good way to go.
Oof.
You would like be
Sounds
choking
like a
on
wrong
it?
way
Ooh.
to go. He was rounding up the townsfolk and sending them out to the desert to die.
And I like that he tried it at that
Don't
other
care.
at Halo at first, but got chased out of town. So he tried it again here. He's like, it was a good idea. I just need to not get interrupted by Yuri, so I'll go far, far away. So Yuri does turn around, like dusting the sand off of his hands, and
I want to point out, I fully believe that Yuri did not murder this man.
I'd say he definitely did not help. He got the men into that situation
Yeah.
and was going to murder
that
the man.
walked himself into that
Okay,
situation.
but he wouldn't have
All
done
Yuri
that.
did was confront him about his crimes, and he was so guilt-ridden and cowardly that he fled into the sand pits and killed himself.
Yuri could have left him alone and he would have gotten a good night's sleep, and that's all that would have happened to him.
Yuri turns around. Who is there? It's Flynn.
Yeah, and Flynn's like, I saw the whole thing, Batman. It's me, Superman. I think you're heckin' bad for doing that. And Batman's like, well, we can talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, well, what are you going to do? Kill me too if I try to stop you? And he's like, well, if you do bad things and you don't stop people from doing bad things, then maybe I will. And Flynn walks off, and who is there watching this whole scene?
Estelle!
And she's like, wait,
And
did you kill Kumar
So,
and
I just want to say
other
that
guy,
by your own logic, Estelle and Flynn are also guilty of Kumar's murder.
What?
Because they also stood by and did nothing.
I guess that's true.
Everyone saw this, and no one saved Kumar. No one.
That's true. There's probably still time.
They didn't
It's
back
been
him
like
up the same
30 seconds. She could have used her healing magic on him. She chooses
No.
not
Once
to.
they're dead, they're dead.
Well,
She
Estelle's
has.
pretty cool with it. And then Yuri's like, are you afraid of me? And she's like, no, I think if you kill me, you'll probably have a good reason for it.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty
this
weird.
is the type of cult of personality that Batman inspires. You know? Where they're like, I don't care that you break the law, but everybody else that break the law is fucking evil.
A cowardly
that's
and
legit.
superstitious lot.
And they'll kind of have to deal with this later.
At this point, you can wander around the town, and the guards are gone, and you can meet the cow. You can meet the cowman. Do you guys want to talk about the cowman,
Wait, what's the cowman?
Vanessa?
What's the cowman?
Do you want to talk
I know
about
there's the cow.
cowman?
There's the little boy in the cow suit at the
Yep.
food center, but that's in Dongrest.
There's a little boy in the cow suit behind the buildings
Oh,
next to a sand pit, and he's waiting for the antlion man.
what?
And if you give the antlion man an apple gel, then he'll give you some milk.
Oh,
And he says, fresh squeezed from the udders of yours truly, moo hoo hoo, heart.
upsetting.
And
So this is a boy in a cow
he
suit.
does,
right?
He does refer to Judith as Miss Bouncy Bouncy, and he does refer to Rita as Miss Flatty.
Oh,
Flatty,
I didn't.
because she's not big breasted.
I did not see this cowman at all.
yeah. Neither did I.
He refers to Rita as Flatty McChesterson. That's real. That's not something I'm making up.
Wow.
And then Raven is like, ha, 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 I love this kid. They call him KZ because he's, I don't know. I don't remember.
What?
He's cows.
The defense
KOWZ.
of this.
Oh.
You can call me KZ for short. Nice to meet you. KZ, don't you think cows is plenty short enough? No need to be sassy, Flatty McChesterson.
Oh. If anyone has a right to be
Is Antlion Man the name of a friend of yours or something? Yepperoo, something like that, Miss Bouncy Bouncy. Karol, Bouncy Bouncy. Anyway, this happened, and I'm not happy about it.
if anyone has a
Okay.
right to be interested in how large or small a lady is, it would be a cow.
It's a little boy dressed in a cow costume, and he does sexually harass these women, and it's not funny or...
And he does claim to produce milk.
And he does claim to produce milk. I mean, it's a video game in a fantasy world, so maybe he is a
Well,
creepy
or
little
he
cow
like
man.
fills his fake udders with milk that
Oh,
he purchased at a store.
that's
That's
even
what
more
I.
disturbing.
Or it's just his
the idea
pee.
of him like,
He might just pee in a glass and be like, "This is my milk."
He just has like a front pouch that he fills with milk and then like squirts it out of the fake udders. What's disturbing about that?
hot
This is
gaming news. I have some
What's disturbing about that?
hot
Yeah,
gaming news
good
to share
question.
here about this. In the Animal Crossing update, there is a pigeon named Brewster who runs the cafe. And if you get enough drinks from him, he will eventually ask you if you would like some pigeon milk in your coffee.
No.
And
Which is a real thing.
It is a real thing, and it ain't milk.
No, it's a white liquid produced from their gullet.
That they
It's kinda-
spit up.
I don't want to hear more about this. Thank
Okay.
you. All right.
They
I've talked long enough about Cowman.
that is disgusting, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
This is Vanessa's Wonder Log, and I demand that Vanessa take us through.
Okay. So after we kill Cumore, Flynn is like, well, I guess I can't let you get away with this, so I'm gonna take you in. And Yuri's like, you can fucking try, bitch. And
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
This is maybe my favorite moment in the game when Yuri's just like, actually, don't fuck with me.
yeah.
Because he's right. He's not right. Like, he is a killer. But also, just so we're on the same page, am I right about this? This seems to be well outside of the Empire. Like, they're just taking over towns.
They are. And
Fuck these fucking
yeah,
colonizers.
Yuri is accusing Flynn. He's like, you said you were going to change things from the inside, but you're just doing everything that the Empire has always done.
Yeah, he says, you're just doing the Empire's dirty work like everybody else.
And Flynn's like, buh, 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 buh. And Yuri's like, no, buh, buh, buh. You know I'm right. Let's have it out here now. However, one of Flynn's little minions comes running up, and she's like, "Oh, Flynn, there's trouble down in Arena Town, and we got to go right now." And Flynn kind of uses this, I think, as an excuse not to try to fight Yuri. He's like, "Later, Yuri. Someday I'll get you. Goodbye." So then we need to go to the Arena Town.
He's lucky I let him live.
Yeah, he is.
All right, hang on.
Yes.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
So at this point, Yuri has murdered 2 men.
Sure.
This is well outside, I think, the JRPG canon of protagonists.
It's a little
you know?
unusual.
Yuri is growing as a character, which is good storytelling, right? But he's growing as a character in a bad way. Like, he is becoming, like, harder and, like, more evil?
Yeah,
Is this game going to end with Yuri taking over the world? Because I'm so down for it.
that would be pretty cool if it turns out Yuri was the bad guy all along.
That's not that. Why was he the bad guy? What if he's doing it to help people?
You don't take over the world to help people.
Somebody tell Donald Trump that. Hey!
I don't
Sorry,
think
go
he
ahead.
thinks he's helping anyone but himself. So,
That's a good point.
So then,
Show.
now it's time to go back to the arena
Show me the
town
money.
because we want to meet the head of that town, who, as you recall, only meets people on the full moon.
Is that
New moon.
Belial?
Belial. Bellius.
Bellius. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So we are heading through the desert, back to this cavernous pass, and we run into a merchant, and they're like, can't go through that pass. They closed the whole thing off. And we're like, what, why, how? And he's like, I don't know, but they're not letting anyone through, and it's totally the dumb old Flynn Brigade that's doing it. And Yuri's like, the
Yeah.
Flynn Brigade? What is Flynn thinking? Why is he doing this?
There's some
He's a
issues
punk-ass
with
punk.
Nordopolica, and like he's trying to stop the Hunters Guild from getting into Nordopolica or something. Is that right?
That's sort of what they claim is
Is
going
he?
on, but it's not even really clear,
They
I
s-
don't think.
I thought that they said I thought that they said that the Flynn Brigade was coming to arrest Bellius for her participation. They believe that well, two things. First of all, I'd like to point out that they refer to Bellius as he and she all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It is all over the fucking place, which is weird. It's not weird. It's just like it's bad. It's badly done.
Nobody knows.
Because there are multiple full cutscenes where everybody says he, and then there are other cutscenes where everybody says she.
I think everyone's just making
Bellius.
assumptions.
Bellius is a no. It's not even like okay. Bellius is whatever. That was one. What was two?
What was two? I don't know. They're your things.
No, what were we talking about?
So we get to the cave, and it's all blocked off with guards, and we're like, how are we going to get through? And who should have an idea but Patty? And she convinces Raven to join her in this scheme. How does she do it? We quickly learn that she makes some kind of promise with him, a secret exchange. And later it is revealed that her promise was that if he helps her, she will tell him Judith's measurements.
I don't understand the appeal of measurements.
I don't either.
I guess if you're going to buy someone some clothing, it's important to know their sizes.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's nice.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, do you think that he was trying to find her measurements out because he wants to buy her some clothing?
Yes.
Or because he is a pervert who wants to
A pervert?
know her specific digits so that he can accurately jerk off to them?
Unfortunately, I do think it's the second one.
No.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, he's got a finisher with Estelle where she gives everybody the high five.
Mm-hmm.
And her high five with him is he's like, "How about a hug?" And she's like, "I don't think so, creep."
I had one finisher, which I actually loved, where he was with Estelle and Rita, and Estelle's like, "For justice!" And Rita's like, "Knowledge!" Oh no, Estelle goes, "Our greatest power is like friendship." And Rita goes, "Knowledge." And Raven goes, "Sexuality."
That's funny.
Yeah, that was great.
I appreciate the fact that he's, I don't know. I don't like how everybody in their 30s is presented as a total pervert in these games.
Mm-hmm. So, Rita is
But
very.
I think it's a cultural thing.
Rita is very interested in the air crene here, and she does want to figure out why it was spurting out so much air before. She still can't figure it out. She's like, this isn't a natural phenomenon. I don't know what's happening. She studies it for a little while, but they figure that that's about all she can learn. So they start heading out.
That's correct. Then we get to the end of the cave. Those two terrible guards are there. It looks like we're going to have to fight them again, but then Raven just kind of steps out of the shadows, and he's like, "Attention!" And they salute him, and they run by. And then everyone's like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Nothing
That
to
was
see
fun.
here." Okay, bye.
Now it's time to head to Nordopolica, the Colosseum city.
More like Nerdopolica.
Just to follow up on that, though, the whole through the caves thing is so absurd. Like, you just keep, like, it just is a comedy of errors where it's like, oops, they didn't see us. But by the way, you are killing guards the whole time.
You are.
You know, because they are the random monsters. But then when you see a guard in a cutscene, you're like, haha, we happen to get by. It's not even explained.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing makes sense. They're just, it's the game giving up, which I don't know why the game didn't just go, oh, you have to go back to Nordopolica, so like here's a cutscene.
They could,
Which it does do
I
sometimes.
guess you can interpret that when you're fighting these guards, you don't kill them, and that's why it's more impactful when Yuri kills people in the cutscenes.
I guess you're right.
that
I mean,
could be
that's
some
always
headcanon.
been that's always, well, it's not even really headcanon, right? Like, that's always been, just because they run out of HP doesn't mean they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you have to look at it. Just because you don't run out of HP doesn't mean just because they run out of HP doesn't mean they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
So
I
you
run
had-
out of HP, I take a nap.
Exactly. They're just taking a nap. And that's why, like, healing and, like, Phoenix Downs work on these people to wake them up. Because it's like, well, you're just napping, but here's a 2-hour nap real quick. Like, in a feather.
In a feather.
And then you feel better again. You know, the original concept for hit points in Dungeons and Dragons was not like literal damage done to the body.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, bang. It included like morale and like injury and like fatigue and.
So they decide to go to the inn
that
first
might be the
because they
nerdiest
want
this
to
podcast has ever
freshen up before they go see the leader because they want to look pretty for her. And at night they head out. Karol sees someone who looks kind of familiar sneaking through the darkness. He's like, "Oh, is that who I can't be?" So you head over to you ask to be let in, and Raven's like, "I got this letter for Bellius," and the only reason that he'll let Raven in is because Raven's got a letter from Dawn Whitehorse. And but then a voice from inside's like, "Oh, let him in anyways. It's fine. Don't even worry about it."
Let them
Oh yeah,
all
they try
in.
to keep us out for sure.
One thing, so Bellius is the Duce, but there's also a Duke. Duke is Diet Sephiroth. So I find that kind of confusing. But that's because
Well, they live on they're from different continents.
Duke
And
is
it is
just
pronounced-
his name. He's not a duke.
Are you sure?
No, that's not true. That's false. He is a Duke.
Yeah.
That's his. We're gonna learn his full name, and it's like Duke something. His name. He's not like Duke, like he's like from G.I. Joe.
So they do say, okay, before you go in here, don't comment on Bellius's appearance, and don't tell anyone about what Bellius looks like.
Intelicaia. I got it. It came back to me. How
Okay.
you pronounce what they are.
Yeah.
Intelicaia.
So you head up about 8,000 steps and get into Bellius's office and gasp, there's just a monster there.
And they're like,
Fox.
"We got tricked. It's a monster. We're gonna fight this monster now. Oh my god, monster!" And then the monster's like,
It's
"Stop."
Naruto's. It's Ninetales.
They all look the same.
Y'all
to me.
Naruto fans know what I'm talking about.
Sure. That's when you run with your hands like straight back
Nope.
behind your back.
Ooh.
That's Naruto. That's Naruto running for sure.
That's
And
what
they're
Naruto-
like,
Connor does that. It's really stupid. Like I watch him do it. Not all the not when he's really running, but like he'll be like, ooh, he's playing and he's like running with his arms behind him.
I love it.
It's stupid.
and really
They do it
doing
in
those
Turtles,
like
too.
knee steps, getting your knees way up there. Yep. And Bellius is like,
He's clumsy, so he does knee himself. In the
I'm
face.
not. I am not.
Bellius is an
a
Intelicaia.
monster.
Bellius is a big fucking nine-tails fox, but also like a nine-arms fox
Sure.
because she does have like big forearms, but then like several arms under her tummy. Bellius is an Intelicaia, like Pharaoh and Baul and the dragon that saved us.
And apparently, so during the Great War, where Bellius was an antagonist to the Empire, Dawn Whitehorse did save Bellius.
Wait,
Yeah. We haven't got the full readout of what the Great War is yet, because you find out.
we're not there yet. You're talking about that's conversations they have later, right?
No,
when we
it's
get
right now.
to
It's right now.
all right, fine. Oh, this was Vanessa's Wonderlock. Vanessa, what happened next?
Then we have this conversation about how Dawn Whitehorse and Bellius are friends,
From the Great War.
and the Great War.
Oh, from the Great War, because you're right, John. She explains that she doesn't quite explain, but it feels like Bellius was like helping her during the Great War, right?
Or they were fighting together or something. It's not fully clear. They're some kind of allies.
Yeah.
And she feels that she owes him something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, by the way, hey, child of the full moon.
And Estelle's like, you can tell me what that means? And she's like, oh, for sure. And then in bursts the hunting guild. And they're like, monster, monster. We see a monster. It's our job to kill monsters. We hate monsters. We're going to kill this monster. Everybody get out of the way. And Nan is there, the girl that Karol is obsessed with. And
Tyson. And Clint.
Yep. And Carol's like, oh, hey guys, this is a bad monster. And they're like, you are a friend of monsters. Friends of monsters must die. Our whole mission in life is to kill monsters. We are the Monster Hunter Guild. That is what we do. If you can't deal with it, we're going to kill you too. And that's what they tried to do.
Mm-hmm. And they tell them to get out of here. Basically the big monster Bellius does say, get out of here, go try to stop this attack. But as soon as they try, they get out to the main area, and everyone's been like knocked unconscious. It's real sad. Like even the beefy boy has been knocked out.
So sad.
Mm-hmm. He's the guard, the big guard guy. Nats, that's his name.
We're the Monster Hunter Guild, and you know why. If you're a monster, we'll kill you on the fly.
Sorry,
we like to kill monsters.
Beefy boy is headed to the Colosseum.
They aren't guys. Monster Hunting Guild, foe in the sky.
So
that was really good. I know that you don't think that that kind of like on the spot improvisation is your strong point, but I'm happy to see you try.
It was difficult. Mm-hmm. You know what? I know that it was not like top tier stuff, but I did give it my heart and soul. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you recognizing that, Vanessa. And I want to make sure that John knows I saw him trying to talk over and through and around me. And wow, way to support me in my hopes and dreams of being a video game rap star.
So we go follow Nats into the Colosseum, and Nats is the beefy boy that works with Palestrale, and you get in there, and they're like,
John, thank you.
Karol's like, hey, Nan, what's up? And Nan's like, yeah, we control this place, and we're going
Nan's like, my only characterization is that I hate Karol, and I kill people because I'm an asshole. So you're supposed to sympathize with me? Question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Rita also hates
Karol keeps
Karol,
saving her.
Like she hits him all the time.
Well, listen, I hate Karol too. Rita hates Karol like I hate Karol, though. Where it's like you're a little piece of shit, but it's loving.
So you do have to fight two of them. You fight, I said, Tisan and Nan, right? Two of the hunting guild people.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough fight, right? Like Nan is a real spellcaster and ranged fighter, and the other guy is close up, and you have to.
What I did was I just chased Nan and destroyed her, and then dealt with the other guy after.
You know what's stupid? You want to laugh at if you want to laugh at Matthew. I finally figured out today how to fucking change who my target is. Like the biggest problem with the combat in the game is that it's just a little too slow. Like it plays almost like a fighter. But like a slow fighter, which is fine when it's like I have time to input my controls, but it's not fine when it's like stand around for a minute and wait for this person to stand up. So I did finally figure out how to swap my targeting today so I could go after a lot of people. John checked his phone, so I guess Waluigi was staring at me very intently, but Waluigi was always staring at me very intently.
Wah! Listeners, I'll let you in on what Matt is talking about. While Matt and Johnny enjoy showing their faces on the Zoom call, it tends to drain my phone battery, and I use the phone to talk to them. And so I put instead of my live face a very good picture of Waluigi that I drew.
All right. So you fight these two, and then Estelle does use her powers to heal Nat, which is fun.
Mm-hmm. And then she also decides to
Well,
use...
Bellius just
Bellius
flops.
like belly flops into the arena.
Bellius
like,
flops.
Bellius!
Sorry, Vanessa.
Yeah, Bellius
Bellius
flop.
flops.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we ran into the Colosseum, right? So like we're in the arena.
We're already yeah.
Yeah, and Bellius flops.
Yeah. And so Estelle's like, since my healing powers work super great, let's try it on this Dragon Fox thing.
And Bellius is like, no. But she does anyway.
Turns out her magic powers are kind of poisonous to Entelexia.
Yeah.
Entelekea.
She sends this Entelekea into like a mad, rabid rage.
One of my least favorite things in games is when characters you like turn bad and then tell you to kill them as you fight them. I hate that. I don't know why. I just hate it. I don't like it.
I get that, but this was a great fucking fight. This thing is tough, and it is wily, and it moves you around the arena, and it is a good, fun fight.
Well, I think
by here I figured out that here's example 2 of how Matthew's bad at video games. Johnny, anytime you ever think that you're bad at video games, remember this. I'm not a child who struggled with this. I'm an adult. And I didn't realize until today that the skills are equipped when they're green and not gray. And your SP bar is empty and not full. Because I'm dumb. So I figured out how to play the game right finally.
Yeah, because that like boosts your stats and attacks, and
it's not just that. You can change your attacks and stuff.
Yeah, you can add elements which will change your arts, which is great.
Well, there's also altered arts. There's altered arts that you can like what's the word? More skills that you can gain. That will change an art. So like Azure Edge, which is your fireball that you've had from the beginning of the game, now is like a combo of 2.
Oh, I gotta probably re-equip that. I haven't had that equipped in forever.
Well, I don't know. I just figured it out today, so I'm probably super late to it because I've had that chain ability for a long time.
Right.
So I finally figured it out. So now I'm starting to work on those and adding those into mine, which is cool. Like it does. It's another great aspect of the combat system that makes it more interesting. But anyway.
So I did die at this fight like 4 times, and it is about half an hour.
I said
to restart because there's no save points. This game real mean about save points, and it does dump you. I'd say that is my biggest problem.
It's a remaster and it doesn't have a save anywhere.
Yeah,
like we just played Legend of Mana and it had a save. It had a save anywhere. I bit my tongue when I said that. We just played Legend of Mana and it had a save anywhere, and that's an older game than this.
I was trying real hard because there's obviously a mechanic. So it does like turn Bellius into Berserker mode, and Bellius is attacking and then wants us to kill her. And there is a gimmick to this boss fight, where Bellius turns off all these lamps around, and then when she does that, it makes a second one, and that just starts destroying your team members. Now you can cast fire or use fire attacks on these lamps to light them back up. I could never do it right because they like as soon as you light them back up,
that's so tough.
They extinguish themselves in 10 seconds, and you basically have to light all 4 in 10 seconds. I have no idea how you do this unless there's something a very obvious way I'm missing.
Maybe an area of attack.
Yeah.
Spell from Rita or something.
Otherwise,
or
you
like
just have to make
spell.
sure you target the correct Bellius and then just destroy it, but you have to do it real fast because having 2 boss monsters is real hard, And I had a lot of problems with this fight, but I managed to just like barely get through it. And that was like messing with the arts and really trying to make sure everyone was like super correctly outfitted with skills and stuff. That was the only way I got
By
through
this
it.
point, I had eaten one of the gummies that comes with the remaster that gives you like 5 levels.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did also give myself a ton of synth materials to allow me to make all sorts of crazy weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So I did murder this thing pretty quickly. And it was fun. It's a good boss fight. It's a real good boss fight. And I got the double. One of them, the double, I think was shielded. So like after a minute, I was like, this is the wrong one. And then I went after the other one and wiped it out.
Right. So you do have to kill Bellius, and it's real sad.
Well, Bellius is the Duce and the head of Nordopolica, but also the head of the, what's the name of her guild? Pala something?
Palace
That was a
something.
question. Okay. That's fine. I'll figure it out.
We don't know. We're dumb.
You guys go do your thing. I'll figure it out.
Apparently, if you use Destruction Field, that's the fastest way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well,
Why?
Who knew? Anyway, so you go. So she's dying, and then Nats is going to be head of the guild.
As she dies, she says to Nats to not hold a grudge against us.
Because she was trying to kill her. It wasn't on purpose that she killed.
And she's
And,
like, you're...
Yeah, Estelle.
She tells Estelle that her real power is not healing, but her very good compassion. She's like, hey,
So-
compassion's cool. You got it. So you're cool in my book, lady.
She says power corrupts, but not you. Your kindness, whatever. Yada yada.
Yeah. She does turn into a crystal, and this crystal is an apatheia, and everyone's real excited about that. And then
Clint wants it.
Clint's like, I'm going to take it. And then suddenly some of Flynn's soldiers come in to stop everything, including Sodia, which is his like right-hand lady. We've met her a couple of times now. So then you got to get out of town because the place is full of knights, and you head out and go run into Flynn one more time. And he's like, I want that apatheia too. And you don't hand it over. And then you just go like onto your boat.
You're like, we can't escape by land. We'll escape by water. Let's jump on
Right.
the boat.
We should mention that Flynn's like, what, you're going to kill me like you killed Rago
Oh, yeah.
and Kumar?
And everyone's
and
like,
Carol's like,
ugh.
Yeah. Everybody's like, whoa, what? But also, Yuri's like, yes. And I was so into this. I don't know why. I'm telling you, like, Yuri is there's, I guess, how do I phrase this? I'm not super enjoying this game as much as I did the first time I played it 10 years ago or 12 years ago or whatever. Maybe partially because we have done a lot of these recently and I am burned out on anime bullshit. But Yuri's probably the most interesting protagonist in one of these fucking games in a while. I love this stuff.
He ain't bad.
yeah, he's fun.
He ain't good.
Well, no, I mean, like, he's not bad as far as character goes. He's a character.
I love it when you get him alone,
Square
and
roots,
when we
characters
talked about this
welcome.
earlier. That's right, characters welcome. John mentioned we talked earlier about when you get left alone by yourself, you will tend to get a couple of skits of just Yuri talking to himself, and those can be very interesting. And I skip a lot of these skits because they tend to be crap.
Yeah, but with Yuri,
Anytime
he's like,
Patty's around, I'm like,
well, Yuri, you're a murderer. What are we going to do about that? I don't know, Yuri. Murder people? Okie dokes.
Karol is you get onto the ship, and Karol, Raven. We don't even have to mention it, but Raven left the party and then came back, which he does like 50 times.
He does it
so
all the time.
it's not a particularly interesting plot point that Raven comes back.
No, it's not. It's not really worth talking about. But it is interesting, I think, overall. I like the fact that he's gone for 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Other than it's annoying when he comes back and you have to skip a cutscene of them talking about it again.
You know what is worth talking about is that
What?
they are back on their ship. They were promised a new core, and they have one to run the ship. And Rita's looking at it. She's like, "Oh wow, this core is so powerful and cool." And then Judith just steps in and she's like, "Smash!" And she smashes it to high heck. And Rita's
That's
like,
pretty weird.
"What
And
the
this
fuck?"
aggravated me.
Mhm. It was like a new turbo core. Everyone was real excited about it. but Judith's just like, yeet.
Yeah, she's like,
Wrecks
"Smash!"
it.
So it was like a next generation i7, you know, or maybe like an i9,
Yeah.
you know, like those exist, right?
It was a Ryzen.
But then Judith was like, "Ugh, we only do disk drives here," and was like, "Smashy,
Yeah,
smashy,"
she's like, "I fucking hate
And
this."
because that's her religion, I guess.
and then a
Her
dragon,
religion is that she hates anything
her
past the
dragon
cassette.
buddy shows up
Yeah,
and
well,
picks her up.
Judith is like,
she's
"Wait
like,
a minute,
"Later,
you're
nerds."
the dragon freak," and she's like, "Goodbye."
Yep. You later. She gives the double deuce to Rita.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rita. Vanessa said Judith. Rita is like, "Wait a minute, you're a dragon freak."
Yeah, you're my arch nemesis.
You know what?
You've been all along.
Mm-hmm.
They've been building up to this confrontation, and it kind of aggravated me. Like, just come on.
Well, at least they got so you finally got the two things that the game was like, sort of building up to. One is Karol finds out that Yuri's been murdering people,
That's a good point.
and then Rita finds out that Judith is the Dragon Rider. And
You know what, John? You're right, because it does knock them both out right
Yeah.
here, and it does carry along this next bit of plot.
And
As Vanessa's going to tell us.
Yeah, this is my wonder log.
Wonderlock.
So everyone is like, "Well, let's take a chill. Rita needs to go lie down. She's so upset." And then Yuri wanders.
Also, we can't move because our boat is
'cause the core
still
is
in
smashed.
dead in the water.
So Yuri decides to go around talking to everyone. And first he talks to Karol, and Carol's like, "So, you're a murderer, huh?" And Yuri's like, "Yep." And Carol's like, "I don't know how to feel about that." Yuri's like, "That's fair, but goodbye." So they have that talk, and it doesn't really resolve anything. And then you talk to Estelle, and she's just on her same bullshit that she's always on. She's like, "My power is bad? I'm the child of the full... What does that mean? I have to know what it means."
Well, at this point, that's not fair. At this point, she is mourning the fact that she murdered
She is,
Bellius.
yeah. She's upset about that. And
I'm helping.
Yeah. I was helping.
Well, that's what Yuri keeps telling her. Is this when Yuri cuts his hand and is like, that's later.
No, that was in the arena after she kills Belly. She's like, "What do? I can't help anyone." And Yuri's like, "Check this out," and cuts his hand open. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And heals him. And he's like, "See, you can help people." And she's
That's true and a good point. You're saying it very dismissively, but I thought it was an excellent way to prove his point very quickly.
I guess that's
she's
true.
like, "I am poison," and he's like, "Okay, hang on, look at this. Hey, ow!" And she fixes him, and he's like, "Hey, it turns out that that's not poison."
Mm-hmm. That's true. Maybe I'm being too dismissive of Yuri because I don't know. Because I'm salty all the time. So Yuri goes around. He talks to Rita. Rita's like, "Hey, did you know that was the dragon freak all along?" And Yuri's like, "Yep." And she's like, "Well, not thrilled about that." But
But again, I think he has a good point where he's like, everybody's got secrets, and we're all hiding something, and I chose to trust her.
and Rita is kind of okay with it. Like, she'd like to know more, but
Well, I think it's built on solid, storytelling of like they've spent now, whatever amount of time, a few weeks, I guess, maybe, traveling together and getting to know each other and becoming friends. And she's reconciling that with the fact that she hates dragon freaks.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't?
Because she sees the Blastia as being alive, and that she sees the Dragon Rider as murdering
That's
them.
still not clear. She's never actually said that she sees the Blastia as being, like, alive. She acts like that, but she doesn't. That's not a right? Am I wrong?
Maybe
That's not a thing in
I
this
could have
story.
misinterpreted it.
I don't think you're misinterpreting it, because I think that the game is like implying it, but then they just never do anything with it. Rita never explains why she's so obsessed with Blastia like they're living beings. Vanessa,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think it's time to move on with my wonder log.
All right.
So we decide to go back to deliver this corpse of the Entelekea to Don. What's his name? So we head back.
Whitehorse.
Yeah, we head back to the guild town. Don Whitehorse is not there.
And they're like, so Patty's like, I want to go check out and see if my is this where she or is it or is it
It's
after where
later.
she does that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So we learned that Don Whitehorse has gone to the headquarters of the Monster
Red
Guild
Eye.
at this point, I guess. or
Yeah,
Red
the
Eye,
Jerk Guild.
The
I
Jerk
forget what they're
Guild.
called.
And he's gonna go.
They are the Jaeger is the boss.
Mm-hmm. We know that part.
Well, you didn't say it. Jaeger is the boss of the...
Jerk Guild.
I forgot.
So you head out to find him at their evil mansion, and it is full of those creepy soldier guys. This is a pretty fun dungeon. It's just a house. I like that a dungeon's just a house. And the reason that one of the reasons that we have to go there is that because the Don's not there, they're like super fighting. Leviathan's Claw is the name of that.
Oh
gang.
yeah.
So
there's going to be a
Don-
war, basically.
Yeah. Again, a different war than before, but yet another war between all the guilds. So you head
That
to
was some good rhymes.
so you start
Can
going
you
into
turn
the
that
mansion,
into a rap?
and you do see that Don Whitehorse is trying to fight Jaeger and chasing after Jaeger. So you follow him into Jaeger's bedroom, I guess. Which is
I went
very-
through the whole back of this house for some reason. I don't know why I did not immediately go upstairs.
And Jaeger's like, "Oh, it's you, Don Whitehorse." That was a terrible German accent.
No, that was pretty good.
No, it
that
was
was as
great.
good as Jaeger's.
Better than mine.
Oh, Don Whitehorse. Oh, okay, goodbye.
Shane Don Whitehorse.
Bye-bye.
I love Jaeger.
Bork.
He is
Yeah.
wonderful.
That's the deer piss, right? And then it tastes like licorice. You put it in a Red Bull.
Sure.
Jägermeister.
Ain't no beggar when you're drinking Jaeger. Anyway, you get to the bedroom,
Does every dumb alcohol trend have a rhyme?
I guess. Jaeger yeets out the window. Then Don Whitehorse yeets out the window.
He does say so. Don Whitehorse is like, "I'm gonna murder you," and he's like, "Well, if you do that, you're breaking union laws." He's like, "Yeah, but you suck, and I don't care. I'm going to murder you."
I really hate you, though.
Yeah, but Vanessa's right. So first, Duarte Gauche show up, and they're my favorite. They're his his Jaeger's two henchmen
Those
and
little,
women.
like, girls.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
His schoolgirls that he... Okay.
So so Jaeger yeets out, and then Duarte Gauche yeet out, and then they get to talk to Don does see Patty, and he's like, "Wow, you look a lot like my buddy Alfred."
And Patty's like,
And
Alfred really is my grandfather. I have amnesia, by the way. I don't know if we've ever mentioned that on the show. She has amnesia. It's irritating.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Patty is a real third wheel to this game. Like, she does not add anything. Every time Patty interrupts a conversation, I get so annoyed because I'm like, you were added in after the game was made, so you're not going to add anything to this. All you're going to do is waste time.
I love her, and she's a precious little
I love
angel.
her in my party. She's my favorite character in the party. She, like, stabs people and blows them up, and it's amazing.
Shoots them.
And shoots them. She's a delight.
Mm-hmm.
But anytime she has to stop and talk, it's like, okay, this is just wasted.
So we give Belius's
about me right now.
apathia to Don. He's like, oh, well, that's sad. And they're like, well, what are apatheas anyways? What's going on? Why did Estelle destroy Belius? He's like, I'll tell you all this later, though. I gotta go. And he jumps out the window, too. And then you do get...
this is exactly what happened with Belius. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll tell you. Oops, there's some bad guys. Yeet! Just gone.
So you do all jump out the window after him and head back to Dongrest, where I misinterpreted...
Well, we stop and, like, hold the enemy line for a while.
True.
So that he can escape.
Oh, okay. Then you head back to Dongrest.
Mm-hmm.
And in Dongrest, you find that in order to stop the war, because of Palestrale being killed because of the hunting guild, I forget.
No. Palestrale's the guild that Belius was the head of.
Yeah,
and that was the guild. It was Palestrale, like Nordopolica was a guild town, and Palestrale was the guild.
Oh, because of I get, but there's something where. Oh, it was Don Whitehorse's stupid grandson started this war because he thought that...
I've been meaning to bring that up.
Yeah.
Don Whitehorse's grandson Harry was in Nordopolica.
A Failson.
And Raven grabbed him and actually brought him with us back to Dongrest because he is a Failson. Though I don't understand how he started the war when Estelle murdered Belius.
Because he's the one who ordered the guild people to go there. I mean, Estelle's not in a guild, so if she had just murdered Belius, they can't blame guilds on that.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense, Vanessa.
Thank you very
What
much.
happens next?
What happens next? But yeah, this grandson, he never actually does anything. He's just around. He's not in the party. He does.
He's a Failson.
Yeah, he's a Failson. So what happened next is we get back to town, and then Don Whitehorse is like, well, guild laws were violated, and someone's got to pay for that, and guess what? It's gonna be me. And so he decides to kill himself.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, so who's going to be my second? And then like a shot of all the burly men in his guild going like, like tugging at their collar. And Yuri's like, ugh, I'll do it.
The way that he phrases it initially is like, I'll give my head for this. Mm-hmm. And so my imagination, of course, assumed that he was going to go get beheaded.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Well, that's good. You know what? You're right. He does get beheaded.
I didn't understand how this worked.
Commit seppuku first.
Yeah, I didn't understand how this worked. And someone, I think it was Greg, explained it to me that Greg or Moose or someone's like, oh, yeah, if you... so with seppuku, you first stab yourself in the tummy, but that would take a long time to bleed out. So your second is there to behead you after you stab yourself.
Yes. You eviscerate yourself. You have to gut yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you gut yourself, your second is supposed to cut your head off.
And Yuri's like,
but I think if you fail to do it good, then they're just supposed to let you die painfully.
Mm-hmm. And then Yuri's like, number 3 coming up, slice.
Yep. He's like, I love to do murder.
I love this.
And I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I love to do murder. I love this, actually. This is just yet another, I think, great moment for Yuri. It's pretty powerful. Like, Don Whitehorse pulls his short, I don't know what it's called, I apologize, the short knife, the short blade out, and does, I mean, it cuts away, but you hear like, and then chop. Like, it's pretty fucking brutal for a goddamn anime RPG, by the way. Like,
And Yuri does
it's pretty
struggle
brutal
with this.
Like,
He's
even fucking like darker, more quote unquote mature JRPGs like the Persona games don't really have this type of moral quandary and gray area with their fucking protagonists.
That's true. And then Yuri's like, well, I didn't think I'd ever have to kill someone I didn't want to kill. But that's the life of the killer, I guess. YOLO.
YOLO. Yoko, you only kill once. Well, you only... Wait, no, that didn't work. You only kill till you die? Yokoted?
Yokoted.
So now this party splits up. You got to go track down everyone one by one. And okay, so
Classic Tales.
I did
this
make
game.
maybe this is one of the reasons that it took so long for me. This chunker was that like I found Karol no problem and talked to Karol. Karol does want to disband the guild and thinks that it wants to give up and doesn't want to be head of it anymore. And Yuri's like, well, nope, too bad.
This one,
guild's bigger than you now.
Yeah, that's good. Yes. This one I feel like is a good. It walks a bit of a line because Karol has every reason to feel betrayed and whatnot, but the way that it's portrayed is like a little kid crying about his broken toy. Like boo hoo hoo hoo. What do I do? It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, and he's
I like
upset
this
that like
scene.
no one listens to him. He's like, no one takes me seriously. They all
I mean,
think I'm
Yuri-
a little boy.
Yeah. Yuri, the thing is that Yuri takes him seriously. Yuri is the entire reason he's the quote unquote head of the guild. Yuri is propping him up, but he's still,
And then Karol says,
and Yuri kind of is like, okay, well, fuck off then. I don't give a shit about you, which I
that's
respect.
not what he says.
It's not what he says, but definitely he does. I mean, like, he's like, well, fuck you, and he leaves.
He gives him some
because-
tough love.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah, he does. He gives him some tough love.
And then Karol's like,
kinda was
all
hoping
right,
that Karol
I'll
would not
do
come
it.
back.
I'll keep running the guild, but don't call me boss until I've earned the title. He's like, all right, Karol, that's fine. That's fair. And that's the end of that. I like that scene. I thought it was cute. So they mentioned that Don Whitehorse said to Patty before he died that she should go check out some writing on the wall in the sewers, and then people say, oh, Patty's in the sewers. So I did go look for Patty in the sewers
Me
and
too.
spent way too long looking for her there. She's not in the sewers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, this was so, listeners, I said earlier that I finished right before we recorded. So this was, obviously, I was tearing through it. So I was like, I think there might be like a sewer side quest around here, but fuck it. Like, I'm just going straight to the exit. And, Yuri's like, well, Patty, fuck her. She'll come or she won't come. We don't care. Karol, Patty, we leave pretty much everybody behind here, except for we don't leave anybody behind because, as always, they all show up right as we leave.
We're getting on our boat. We're going to go find Pharaohs because that's what Estelle wants to do. She, once again, is like, I don't know what I want to do. I guess I want to find Pharaohs. So they are all loaded up on the ship. They also want to find Judith and get her to explain her reasons for doing what she do and being a dragon freak. And so they're all on the ship except for Karol, who said he wasn't coming. And then we hear, wait! And Karol comes. And then they're like,
Oh, yeah.
well, I guess this is everyone. Raven is staying behind to, like, take care of guild stuff. And then Raven's like, actually, I'm right here on the ship. Let's go.
Gasp.
And they're just like, And every time someone comes and, like, they ask Yuri, like, is it okay if I come? Yuri's like, I don't care.
I was so annoyed with the fact that Karol, they were dragging out whether or not Karol was going to come, as if he was not at this point in the game, that I skipped through this cutscene, and then at the end it was like, the whole party's back, and I was like, oh, okay, great. I guess Raven was there too? I don't know what happened.
He just came.
Yeah.
He's like, it's
Like
me,
you do.
Raven. Okay, let's go. And they're like, don't you have to stay here to, like, run the guilds and stuff? And he's like, no.
No. Why would they ever think that he would do that? Like, Don Whitehorse is dead, so now he's a new man who's gonna take over for him. Like, he's a dirtbag. Like, he's kind of a stoner, actually, which I dig.
Yeah, he's kind of the
like,
dude.
He goes with the flow. He's like, he's kind of a dude. He's just like, I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like any of that responsibility. I'm going to follow you guys around and keep an eye on you.
He is walking around in a bathrobe, so he really is the dude.
Is he?
Pretty much.
You know, I guess you're right. In my game, he is walking around in like weird green armor. So I've kind of forgotten what his original character model looked like. But you're right. It is a purple bathrobe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we we figure we're going to chase down Judith so she can give us some answers. And she did mention that her town was pretty close to the desert. That's why she knew all about the desert. So we know that Mount Temza is just north of the desert, because Raven has been there before. Because what? He was part of the Great War, I guess. You know, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
then
It was only 10 years ago, by the way, which, by the way, so it's like World War II was 10 years ago, and these people were like, what could have happened?
well, they talk about how the Empire like
stupid.
really suppressed information about it. Nobody
Well,
knows what happened, and then they're like, "Oh, I thought."
And I'll also say this. Apparently, the Great War was mostly fought on this particular one battlefield.
Mhm.
Weird that they call it the Great War. Like, let's be honest, calling it the Great War gives it a like historical connection to real world wars.
Mhm.
But it turns out that this world war happened in one small valley.
But it was pretty big fight. Like, there's big craters in the ground and things like that. Raven is
Yeah, it
like,
sounds
"Oh
like a
yeah, I totally
real-
fought in that," and they're like, "We thought that only Empire soldiers fought in the Great War," and he's like,
We'll talk about that another time. They're knights, yeah.
You know, whatever.
Does that mean he was a knight? Is that
Well,
what we're supposed to
I
glean?
think that is what we're supposed to glean, because he did his like 10 hut thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like never really been clear about his past or what his deal
Mhm.
is. So
And as much as I'd be like, well, I think this is really good writing that they don't explicitly say it, I'm sure they will explicitly say it and then talk about it 50 times
Yeah.
afterwards
they'll be like,
as you talk to
"Raven
each
is
character about
actually
it.
the great general so and so who fought in
Mm-hmm.
such and
Oh,
such,"
really?
and
I missed all that.
No,
Is
no.
it general?
they haven't
This is
done
our
it yet.
supposition.
We
We're
suppose.
guessing. We're guessing what the skits and stuff are going to be like after this. So we do get to the town, and the town isn't really a town. Town just bunch of craters.
Mhm.
It's a
And the hunting guild is there
mm-hmm,
because they're looking for monsters still.
mm-hmm.
And who do we find there as well but our old pal Judith.
And she actually starts giving you some real information
Mm-hmm.
here. She's like, okay, here's my deal. So, you know those apatheas, right?
Uh-huh.
They're like the core, the spirit, the what's left after an intellectia dies.
Uh-huh.
Those were there before the Great War. People figured out, hey, you can actually turn these into Blastia. Hermes Blastia is like a secret weapon, and they were super powerful and way more powerful than any of the other Blastias.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, they're like bad because they're bad for the planet. They're basically, they emit a lot of carbon in the
Mhm.
form of air, and they are increasing the greenhouse gases and causing lots of emissions.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Intellectia were like, this is bad. We gotta blow up all these. And they realized it was going to destroy the planet and had to stop the oil and gas industry. So that's what the start of the Great War was. And they did succeed. They basically blew up all the means of manufacturing Hermes Blastia. But if you remember, like a little flashback to what Rago and the guy with the dumb sword, I can't remember his name right now, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
the guy with the robo sword. I think they were talking about figuring out fabrication plans and
They
stuff.
were.
So I think they're trying to bring back Hermes Blastia. And they're, even though they aren't making them right now, there are still some left, and these leftovers are what Judith is called to. She's flying around the world. They feel a disturbance in the air, and that's what creates those air crene like reactions where it blasts out air and makes all the monsters go crazy. I don't know if you heard that. Porky made the loudest sigh, and it was amazing.
I didn't hear it.
She went.
Yeah, so Judith explains all this. Then came a moment that I really enjoyed. Rita steps forward and she's like, "You're so dumb. You weren't going to tell us this. You were just going to save the world by yourself without us helping. Man, you're an idiot." And then Judith is like, but you love Blastia. And Rita's like, if I knew something I made was hurting the world, I'm gonna destroy it. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? And of course, I'm going to help you destroy these Blastia. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And they're like, well, we gotta go. She's like, Rago's like going through a change right now. Rago's going through like intellectia puberty.
Mm-hmm. Rago is evolving from
Rago?
Pikachu
Or
into
not
a
Rago,
Raichu.
sorry. Baul, you're right, Matt. I apologize. Yes. Baul is evolving into a Raichu. And so you do go, and she's like, that's why I had to come back here to defend him while he does his thing. And you get there, and well, okay, there's something about the child. Oh, and all they do talk a little bit more about the child of the full moon, right? How she's poisoned to I don't know. Was there okay, what happens
They don't
here?
really explain anything. They just talk about it. Like, she acknowledges that she knows that Estelle is the child of the full moon, and that she made a deal with Pharaoh to watch her. And she says that if I don't remember what the criteria were, but she says that she was going to kill her if
she
sucked.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, basically if she sucked, yeah.
Because she is death to the
You know how when you suck, you have to get murdered?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the philosophy of this game.
Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I was just going to keep an eye on her. If it turned out she sucked, I was going to kill her. And then everyone's like, what? And then Yuri's like, wait, let's hear her out. And she's like, but it still doesn't suck, so I'm not going to kill her. And Yuri's like, cool. That's how I roll, too. I kill people.
So
if
and
they
then we
suck.
go watch what I can't
Did
remember
we talk
is
about, and I apologize if you did, but let me ask real quick. Did we talk about how Yuri basically threatens to kill Judith?
No.
He does. He's like, okay, you're back in our party now, but if you suck, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, cool.
He does. He's like, if you don't, it's not even that. He's like, if you don't tell us everything, I'm going to kill
Yeah.
you. Like, it's dark. I mean, they don't say that, but it's like, you will follow the rule of guild law if you don't reveal your secrets.
Oh, yeah. Because she's in,
And he, like,
she
licks
is
his
in
sword.
Brave Vesperia. She's a member. So they're like, you
Yeah,
took an
which is
oath.
why it's so fucked up when she leaves.
But now she's back, and I really liked Rita's character beat in this, and everything's good now.
So what I can't remember is, does Estelle have something to do with Raichu turning into Charizard or
No,
whatever?
she wants to like start healing him, and then they're like, "What the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing?" You're
Oh
doing it."
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yes.
Woo. Did you
Yeah.
remember what happened
Judith
last
is like,
time?
you fucking idiot.
And she's like, "Oh yeah."
God. You know, like early in the game, Estelle was like the character of like I've been locked in a library my whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like they've now at this point they've taken it too far, and she is like straight up like a cartoon character who's like, ha ha, I kill you with my power to heal.
But then Judith says, actually your power is kindness. It's not just the healing. So why don't you like think good thoughts, send thoughts and prayers to Raichu here, and see if it evolves.
And
it
Estelle
does.
and she's like, it worked. It was all because of my thoughts and prayers.
And it works, and Raichu turns into like a big old fluffy giant monster.
He does. It's not fluffy. He turns into a fucking giant whale.
I don't think that's a whale, Matt.
Wait,
Is it
what?
fluffy?
Whoa.
All right.
This is a twist. Matt thinks it's a whale.
Yep.
Wow.
Tales of Vesperia. What's it? What is it? Airship.
I hold on. I'm right
They
there.
do tie a ship to its belly.
I love that.
Well, I don't know how that's furry. It does have like a mane.
Well, that's how it's
Yeah,
furry.
I guess it does have some scales, but it also has like fluff and hair. Like the wings look fluffy. It's got like a beard.
It's got like a mane, and it's got like maybe feathers, but that's still like a crustacean.
I don't know.
That's a sky whale.
Like a sky crawdaddy.
What's it called? Is what I'm looking
Baul?
for, I guess. Yeah, I guess Baul.
Yeah. I'm looking at a picture of Baul right now. So Baul grows 3 sizes that day. And does become giant, and then they're like, hey, why don't we go back to our ship? And then I got an idea. We can totally tie, so they get a lift from Baul to their ship, and then Baul consents to being tied to their ship if they like, and can fly, and this
I must have
an
skipped a
airship.
cutscene here, because I just suddenly was like, it got big, and then suddenly we were tied. We were on the ship, and it was tied to it, and I was like, what?
That's pretty much what happens. Judith says that's what they'll do, and then they do it. And that's kind of it for the chunker. We can now head to Pharaoh's house.
Yeah,
Or
Judith
we'll do
tells
that.
us where Pharaoh is, and she's like, I think that Estelle can convince Pharaoh that she is not evil.
Well, and also, I think Bellius told Estelle to speak to Pharaoh to learn her destiny. The end.
The end.
The end? Question mark?
All right, this is a long episode. So there were no mini games, unfortunately. There was some mechanics, like the water mechanic, but that's not really a mini game, and it wasn't super important or difficult.
Where are we playing to next time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I have
Vanessa.
no idea.
None of us have played ahead. Let me look at
We were
walkthrough
going
real
to
fast.
choose a short chunker
Yeah.
for next time.
Let's
I
do
would say,
2 dungeons,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I was going to propose.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
through Heracles.
yeah. That sounds good. So we're going to have a shorty chunker. We'll play until we get to Heracles.
What? Before we go, can I ask one important question of you? What are you squarely against, Vanessa?
Oh gosh, I'm roundly for the character development in this chunker. I like that they're making mistakes and that they're forgiving each other and that they're actually like talking things out instead of just hitting each other and then talking it out. Yeah, I like that they're all kind of struggling with everyone's developing morality. Like they don't love that Yuri is a murderer, but they don't necessarily hate it either. And they're thinking it through.
I'm a little surprised that nobody, like, I guess the one thing, I meant to say this earlier, the one thing that I find weird about this is that out of a party of like, 6 other people, or like 5 plus a dog, not one of them is like, whoa, you've been fucking murdering people? Fuck you. Right? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong necessarily, but when I think about the characters...
Would have been more impactful to the story if there had been a character that had been with us the whole time, that at this point was like, middle fingers, and then just never came back.
Well, there's Flynn.
Flynn is a bad guy, and we're going to have to kill him.
Flynn is not a bad guy. He's our best friend. How dare you?
Flynn joined the system to change it, but is now part of the system and part of the problem. And therefore deserves Johnny's squarely against.
My squarely against is every time you go to a town, you have to find every single person and have a little scene with them. I think sometimes it's good, but not every time. Not every time.
Yeah. Way too much.
Yeah.
That's way too much. The thing is that it's when they use it when they use it during like an interesting point in the story, it's cool. But a lot of the time they use it just to be like, hey, do you want to keep traveling with me?
Sounds
now that
good,
we're
bro.
in this town, do you want to leave? Honestly, Yuri's kind of an asshole. He's constantly like, well, why don't you beat it? You know?
Maybe he's the actual villain of Tales of Vesperia.
None of these people feel comfortable just being like, we're doing this journey together in this story. They're all like, I guess I have to make an excuse because otherwise this murderer is going to bail on me.
All right. Well, we have a Patreon.
Emails. We got an email.
Oh,
We did.
okay. Vanessa?
Vanessa, do you want to read it or shall I?
Why don't you do it, Matt?
Our good friend Tyler emailed us to say, hey there, I'm liking the new opening segment. That's hot gaming news. You're welcome. That's all me. But I have run into a problem. You see, I've been trying to follow along, but I just can't figure out how. I've looked into every last corner of the internet, but I just can't find any of these hot gaming nudes you keep talking about. No, Tyler. Tyler, it's not.
It's not hard
nudes.
to find hot gaming nudes on the internet, Tyler.
Hard gaming
and
nudes.
So I don't know where you're looking, but we can point you in the right direction, I think.
Why don't you send us the links to what you found? The email address is johnnyfirebird@gmail.com.
I've definitely found I do have a favorite artist. I can't remember his username. I'll have to,
John.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I'll ask Coolio. He knows who I'm talking about. There's one he draws.
Ooh, you know what?
The
I
big
think that
beefy
if you
guys.
check out that new WB Smash Brothers knockoff, that looks like it's gonna end up having a lot of hot gaming nudes in it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
All right, we have a Patreon.
For $3 a month, you get every single bonus episode we've ever made. Every single one. And for $5 a month, you can vote. And next year, 2022, it's up to you. It's our year of votes. We still haven't come up with categories yet. We'll work on that. But we know that there's going to be modern games and action games and all sorts of fun
I feel
things.
like two things. I feel like I've already branded it 2022, the year of votes and stuff.
I like
second-
mine better.
And second, and well, you're welcome to your opinion, Johnny. And second of all, I feel like I should be able to insert a modern game into every category.
Okay. Well, do what you want then.
Yes. 2022, the year where Matt does what he wants. This is going to get weird, friends.
Definitely feel free to do some votes and such. And we're going to your support is really awesome. We've always loved that so many people help out with the show, and it helps us get equipment and stuff, and like in my laptops and all those fun things,
and the
Vanessa's
Xbox,
switches.
so I can play Skyrim.
It's not
And
Skyrim.
a new camera because my cat broke the camera that the Patreon paid for. But y'all understand that, right? Because it's my cat. Patreon cat. I'll pay a cat tax if I have to.
And with that, I bid you all thank you a real thank you because we thank every single patron, and but
That's
this,
not true.
well, we do. I try to make sure that we do thank them all, just not all at once. Here is a smattering of patrons we can thank right now. Starting with me. So I'd like to thank Grunk Husband Murderizing Blastia DLC, Armin Hammer, Cyril the Wolf, Do Good Recklessly, Paul Bursch, Breegirth, Ryan Miller, WWE Mike G, Nathan Poirot, Ethan G. Pearson, Kristen Ingram, Grayson Knofford. It's hard to catch Mewtwo of D's nuts in your mouth. Zachary Train, Randy, Cerberus Minotaur, OMG, what is this game? Miguel Torres, Hudson Roth, Citrusy, Joseph, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is, Chris Penyak, and Sean Walsh.
I, too, am thankful, and this week I'm extra thankful for Stu Skeel, Christopher Thompson, Aaron Zelda 2 is underrated little. Hi.
What the fuck just happened?
You skipped over Matt's thanks.
Oh, did I?
Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure, and you might remember me from such films as Angel, Butts on Parade. I assume that's Angel : Butts on Parade is the name of the film. Hexagon, Sean, Vanessa Fan, that's me. Eric Garby, Prey was a terrible game, had a kickin' pop song in it. Robert M. Pullum, Kevin Walter, Amanda Douglas, what is your Chinese and Western zodiac? Oh yeah, you know you can play multiplayer during combat in this game?
Oh, that's neat.
That's a lot of questions, and I guess I'm obligated to answer them. Chinese zodiac is complicated. I always thought it was the year of the rooster, but then I looked at when the Chinese New Year started, and I think by the Chinese calendar, I am not a rooster, I am a monkey. My Western zodiac is the same as Matt's, and I did not know
TMI.
you could play combat. Johnny, what's your sign?
My sign is sheep/Leo. And I did not know you could play this multiplayer, but I don't have any friends.
What?
I did.
What about me? What about me?
But you can't hang out at my house and play games with me.
I can.
Well, no,
I
I
guess you
can't.
can.
I'm not allowed into the country unless I take that fancy test. Johnny said so.
Well, but they're repealing that soon, so that's good.
Yeah, that is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Mikey
Good luck editing this.
Bucho, Alexander Jokic, DeBumpkins is back. Now that we're done with Skyrim, the most boring game, Chachi. Samu Mitchell, Ross Hartley, can't wait to get my turkey stuffed. Ooh. Chad Wilson, Wedge Coon, and
Yikes.
Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021.
Well, of course, I would like to thank our good friends, Ari Capovara, Alex Dillard, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, Tracy, our best and handsomest friend, Stan Ferguson, Adam H., Jason Timms, Matt Newland, Andy M., Jake Dickerson, Stop the Shock, see Twitter hashtag for more info, Star Drifter, Soy Soda Pop, Keysby Knight, Quizats HD Shack Shack, Saving Sid, Ben Without Hats, Florian Jonas Kramer, Michael Crawford, Dylan Rowe, Race Jenkins, more like Tales of Endless Cutscenes, legit, Skyrimmer from Red Dwarf, The RPG Luminary, and Arthur A. Bye.
All right. Yeah. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. What happened to? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, what happened to all of the
Why is
rest
that
of...
before? Oh, I put it in the wrong place. That's why. Send us an email, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. You can go on the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people on Facebook/Meta, but I don't know. I wish we could put this somewhere else that's not Facebook/Meta. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Time to figure that out.
tweet at
Listeners,
us.
are you going to follow us to fucking Mastodon or whatever?
Tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. And you can also rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Stephen Morris for our theme. Find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links for both are in the show notes. Vanessa.
Spotify listeners, for all our classic episodes, check out our archive at squareroots.libsyn.com or on our Square Roots RSS feed, which basically means the other services. Hey, friends, for the Square Roots podcast, my name is Matthew Van Zant.
Well, my name is Johnny Brandon.
I am Vanessa, and shoutouts to Jim, who is recovering from being a sickie boy.
Aww.
So he says.
And shout outs to everyone in BC for the disasters that donate to Canadian Red Cross if you can. Things are bad here.
Yeah.
I'm fine though. I'm safe and fine. So don't worry about me.
But things are bad, and it's very disconcerting, I imagine, to be cut off, even though
Come
you're
stay in
safe
Florida.
from.
You need a month in Florida just to be safe. That's all I'm saying.
That does sound nice, but I don't have that kind of vacation time. Anyway, bye.
Bye. He is the dude.
So just a little behind the scenes moment here. Matt has been muting his microphone when he vapes now so it doesn't get onto the track. Except now I have to remove the sound of him muting and unmuting
That
his
mute?
microphone,
I had to do that
which
myself.
is just as loud as the vaping. So
Okay, you know what then? I apologize for creating that problem for you. I got a solution.
what's that?